Hi, and welcome back to another diplomacy commentary. This is another Nexus Finals, this time Season 4, and I'm here once again with high-level player Ezio.
Quote unquote high level after just losing a 1v1 to a bot.
We're not
Literal
going to
bot.
talk about that.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah,
Jeez.
this is going to be a bit of a different one, because usually this is the part where I say we have no knowledge of the press in the game, we can only see the moves, and we haven't seen any of these moves in advance. That's still the case for Ezio, but in my case, I was one of the players in this game. I qualified for the Nexus Finals this year. I played Turkey, and so I'll be giving some of my insights into the press as we go along. But for the most part, Ezio, you're completely blind, am I right?
Yeah. I've got no idea what happens in this game. I didn't follow it at all. I knew that Meme qualified because he's the best, but
Well, you say I'm the best. I qualified in 7th place by a margin of about 8 points, which is not very much.
easy. Not even close. You're fine.
Yep.
You did
So
the calculation ahead of time. You knew what you needed. You got the minimum qualify. Best position. Was this
Perfect.
game anonymous or not anonymous?
So weirdly, the game was anonymous. It was semi-anonymous in that we all knew who all the players were in the finals, but we didn't know who was playing each individual country. But it wasn't that hard to work out, especially with some of the players. There are obviously tells when a player isn't English. You can quite easily tell that from their writing. That happened a fair bit here. And there's certain people, Conk in particular, Bulky Bartacomus on WebDip, who stand out quite clearly in their press style. So,
Should we go through the players? Sorry, should we go through and say who each player is?
yes, we should. And that I've got the power rankings up on the screen. They're in the order of qualification. Italy was played by Conk, also known as Bulky Bartacomus. He came in first place in the qualifiers, so he will win every single tiebreak at the end of 1910. And I should say that's when these games go to. At the end of 1910, that's the final center count. If there's a tie, the player who came highest in qualification wins the tournament. So, Bulky is on Italy. In second in the qualifiers, we have Babo Natal. I apologize if I'm screwing up names. He is on Germany. Third, we have Pez de Mer, who is on France. In fourth, Superstition, who is on England. Fifth, Iosas, who is on Austria. Sixth, Maxvax, who is on Russia. He is the only other WebDip player on the board, apart from me and Conk. And obviously there's me in 7th on Turkey. Stuck in the corner on my least favourite nation.
Alright, so let's hop right in.
Yep, let's hop right into these moves. What do you think of them?
So the spring 1901, there's normally not too much craziness going on. The most abnormal nation seems to be Italy to me, but it works out very very easily. This frequently you see Italy just move Rome directly into Apulia, as opposed to leaving Venice. But this is a nice way to demilitarize Venice, so it looks like a good way to ally with Austria. And then we see Austria just do a standard porcupine. So, 1901 seems really standard.
What are your thoughts on the porcupine?
I hate the porcupine.
Sorry, hedgehog even, not porcupine.
Excuse
Porcupine
me.
is the 1v1 opening.
Okay, excuse me. I'm just not a fan of this opening. It feels like, I don't know. I hate making this move and just giving up claim to Greece. Like, it's really sad. Really, really sad.
I would actually agree on that pretty... Obviously, I was playing Turkey, so I was very, very happy to see this. But yeah, it just feels bad on the Austrian part keeping that fleet in Trieste where it's pretty much completely useless. It does help demilitarize Venice, but obviously Venice can be better demilitarized by having an agreement, which is what negotiation is for.
Yep.
Yep, which doesn't hamper your progress against Turkey.
But if he's interested in an AT and wants to not, like, I don't know, this feels to me like something that Italy started, and Italy had this agreement where Italy discussed it with Austria, and then Italy like went with it, because to me this seems a lot better for Italy than it does for Austria. There's not that big of a difference to an Italian army in Venice versus Rome, and so this feels like Italy said, "Hey Austria, let's do this. I'm gonna be friendly with you. We can bounce out of Venice, and then we can work together from there." And then Austria was like, "Yeah, I like Italy not having a unit in Venice. Let's do it." So that's how it feels.
From the position of the player in the game, from my perspective, I don't know how true this was, but Italy was really angry about having to do this, and they thought it was something that Austria had forced them into, or they were selling it as that.
Italy was bulky, right?
Yes. So,
yeah, I think he's full of it.
Yeah. That was the impression that a lot of players on the board got. He came across as very untrustworthy all throughout the first year, basically, when you're just getting to know the person. And yeah, we were all kind of thinking... But what Austria was saying was matching up with this. Austria didn't seem to trust him very much, although obviously Austria would play into that if it was an arranged plan on their part.
And I can't say for certain without seeing what the moves look like next year, but I have a feeling we're going to see that Austrian fleet move into Albania next move. And I have a feeling we're going to see them start working together. If we see them make this move again, where they bounce in Venice again, then it's gonna look less obvious. But
yep.
Even still, I'm not sure.
I mean, if you keep that fleet in Trieste just constantly bouncing, that's pretty terrible for any Austria-Italy alliance, because then you're relying entirely on Italian fleet support in the south, and Italy can't do it all by themselves.
Yep.
They really need that Austrian fleet out there.
Yeah, so in the west, the interesting point is this demilitarized zone in Burgundy and the English Channel. So France, to me, said, "Hey guys, nobody attack me. I don't want Belgium. You can have Belgium. Just don't attack me. I don't attack you. And friends." And then everyone looked at France and said friends. And then Russia just did standard stuff. It's really hard to tell from this diplomacy.
So I was going to say, the only other really non-standard order set, because obviously Russia's is very standard, the Bouncing Glacier and the Bouncing Black Sea, obviously arranged with both myself and Austria. The Turkish moveset is about as standard as you can get. The German moveset also, and the English one, moving Liverpool up to Edinburgh, shows a lot of trust in France.
As opposed to Yorkshire, you put so much weight in that move. Man, I don't care about the difference between Yorkshire and Edinburgh. I feel.
I mean, if you put it on in Yorkshire, you have at least a chance of blocking a convoy into your home territory, right? Well, you have 100% chance if you just send North Sea back to London,
you're not convoying.
Yorkshire, yeah. But clearly the faith in France was well placed in this scenario.
Yeah.
The French moves are the unusual ones here, and
they're not that unusual. It's like Paris to Gascony instead of Picardy is the oddity.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I've seen this opening before. The real question is, what are you gonna do with the extra unit? Because you're going for 2 supply centers with 3 units, right?
Yep. Good question.
So, what would be your prediction on that? Obviously,
Hold.
not having seen the press.
I would expect him to have mid-Atlantic hold, and him just shuffle both of his armies straight into Iberia.
That's probably a solid way. I mean, that's a solid continuation because Mid-Atlantic is
The more useful unit.
extremely versatile.
Yeah,
You can choose
so-
to go against Italy, you can choose to go against England, and you can put your builds down somewhere else and then go against neither of them if you want to hit Germany.
Yep. And then you can just convoy straight out of Portugal right back to Gascony or Brest if that's what you're interested in.
Oh, that's absolutely true too. It's like a reverse Lisbon leapfrogger. Yeah. The more common version of this opening I see is when Marseille goes to Burgundy and
Yes.
Munich goes to Burgundy for the self-bounce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you convoy Gascony over to Portugal and move Marseille to Spain.
That gets to the exact same position, but that puts pressure on Burgundy, which might not be necessary, and looks like it wasn't in this case.
Yep.
If you make that moveset, the bounce in Burgundy, usually this is giving Belgium to England, which is frequently not ideal. Part of the huge advantage to this fleet in mid-Atlantic Ocean is how close you are to the North Atlantic Ocean. And so if you want to leverage this position into a very fast attack on England, you wouldn't want to give England the build. And so this might have this might be better for that reason.
Right. And you can absolutely see England would have gotten Belgium if they had bounced in Burgundy here, because England would have had the army that could be convoyed down to it, or they could just go in with the fleet if they'd prefer. No units adjacent from anyone. So now at least it's a contest between Germany and England.
Yeah, in a full press game, this seems more likely to get resolved. In a gunboat game, it's entirely plausible both sides go for it and they just bounce. But here I expect someone to get it. And in that case, it might actually be a problem for France because they can work out their differences while distributing Belgium. Whereas if you're France in Picardy, you could perhaps throw a wrench in those negotiations, but now there's nothing. I kind of want to just see what happens next, so we can
Alright.
have a sort of... Because these moves are too standard, I think, to really draw much inferences from.
Well, I think you'll be pleased by the fall moves if you're looking for non-standard, or at least from one of the fall moves.
I'm a
so
huge
let's-
fan of that convoy to Denmark. Oh my god. That's
Yep.
amazing.
So, a few things to point out, but let's start with that. The English convoy into Denmark very clearly coordinated with Russia here, right? Because Russia moved
Yeah.
down to Baltic instead of going to Sweden. So the
That's
idea is,
super sweet.
if Germany attempts to take Sweden,
Or if Germany attempts to bounce Russia out of Sweden, exactly.
yeah, then Germany goes to Sweden, England gets the army into Denmark, and suddenly Germany's in a really horrible position with this isolated fleet in the north, and armies, well, units in Denmark and Baltic and North Sea.
Yeah. That's
Didn't work.
terrifying. But because Germany said, hey, Russia, let's be friends this time, then Russia just got wrecked. Oof.
Yeah. This is something I still don't know what exactly went down with, and I'm really interested to find out because the German player hasn't posted their after action report yet. Because I'm fairly sure that Russia had some solid info from somewhere that Germany was going to Sweden. So whether Germany changed that last second, or...
Or if somebody else was just lying to Russia and saying Germany's bouncing you out of Sweden.
Yeah, precisely. We won't know until the after action reports are published, but
Yep.
it's a really interesting set of orders up there. Germany saves himself a really terrible position by just that one hold, although...
Yeah, and presumably he did it by being honest to Russia. Because presumably Germany told Russia, I'm not bouncing you out of Sweden.
Yep.
And so he didn't.
I mean, unless Germany did say they're bouncing Russia out.
Unless Germany did say and then didn't. That would be maybe even cooler.
That would have
but
been a terrible idea, but
it might if he did and it got this position, it would have worked out fantastically.
I mean, you still don't like to see that Russian fleet in the Baltic as Germany.
No, but now you say, look, man, we're in a good position. You're not going to get anything from me. Like, whatever. Yeah, other understanded things. This convoy into Greece is pretty sweet, supported. And
Yep.
then, at the same time, France moved into Western Med, which is not what Italy wants to see.
Yes. So the the French move into the Western Med was a surprise to like everyone in the East, and immediately started cries of Western Triple. Although the English moves sort of
The English moves say there's no way this is a Western Triple. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. You don't convoy into Denmark in a Western Triple.
But you don't move against Italy as France while anticipating a war between England and Germany, right? Because you
I don't
can't
know.
just stay neutral in that.
Watch him. Look at that. How can he affect this fight? He can't do anything. His units, he's got armies. He can't attack Germany because he doesn't have anything like within 3 moves of Munich. Sorry, he's got Spain that's 3 moves from Munich.
He does
And
get
it's like-
builds.
Oh, don't worry about that. Those bullets don't matter. Those bullets are. There's going to be like Fleet Marseille and like Wave. Maybe
I'd
Fleet
be
Brest moving into Mid
Interested
Atlantic,
to
but
see a wave. Wave build in 1901 is rare enough. As is, I don't think you would.
they're
wave a
they're
build.
pretty common as France, but only as 3 build France.
Mm.
Right, it's really common to see France get Belgium and Iberia, and then say he only wants to build an army and a fleet, for example, and then figure it out later. But I can't remember seeing a 2-center France, a 2-build France wave 1. I was mostly joking about the wave, but
Yep, it's probably Army Paris, right? You see, as well as Fleet Marseille. I guess you could go double fleet if you trust Germany a lot.
I wouldn't have made these moves if I didn't trust Germany a lot, so I'm feeling like let's do it because I'm going to be moving into Gascony anyways. You have to build an army. If you build double fleet, you're just telling Germany to take Paris. You need the army.
Yep. Now,
That's rough.
well, let's just have a quick look at the east here. So, Italy gets the convoy off into Greece, supported by me rather than being supported by Austria. What are your thoughts on that?
It says that you're buying whatever Balky's selling.
Yep.
If I'm in your position here and I can identify that it's Balky, I'm just saying, hey Austria, Italy is going to say a bunch of great things that sound pretty. We should kill them together.
Yep.
Um,
So, an interesting thing about Balky's press style, or at least in this game, was he'd make a proposal, and then when I'd say I don't feel particularly comfortable about that, he would restate the proposal again and again and again and again until I would concede to some part of it.
so he would say, I want to do this, and you would say no.
Pretty much, and then he would say, I still want to do this, here's some more reasons, and I'd say, I
Nope.
still don't want to, and then he would say more reasons, and more reasons, and more reasons, and eventually, because I'm not the strongest willed player, I would give in to it, and that's exactly what happened here. I really didn't want him in Greece. I wanted him to convoy to Tunis, but he was not having that at all. He wanted to get into Greece.
I assume he said why he wanted to get into Greece?
He wanted to get into Greece so that he could attack Austria by going up to Serbia.
Cool.
My initial plan was to try and get Austria to give me a build either in Greece or Romania. Because I was getting along really well with the Austrian. I thought Austria is probably the person I want to work with long term if I'm choosing based on negotiations. But I started that out by saying I want to go to Greece because I felt, okay, then after he says no to that, I can say, okay, how about Romania? And that seems like a better offer, right? And one he will probably accept. But while I was pitching Greece to him, I heard from Russia that he was already saying I wanted his support into Romania before I'd even asked for it. So that sort of ruled him out as a potential ally, at least this early on, for me.
Cool. Yeah, if Austria is talking to Russia about attacking you, then here we say, yeah, let's kill Austria, dude.
Yep.
Let's dance, pretty boy.
Russia, I was fairly sure would be solidly in my camp. I didn't initially like his press style, which was why I wanted to work with Austria, but I felt like we could work together, so that's what we that's what I decided to do here. And Italy was wanting this Italy, Turkey, Russia, crush Austria thing, so...
Well, it's, seems solid.
Yeah.
How... I imagine after Italy saw the move into Western Med, Italy said crushing Austria is gonna have to take a break, right?
No. Italy's response to seeing France in the Med was, let's kill Austria as fast as humanly possible, and then I can build units and go France's way.
Cool.
Which, I don't know what your feelings are on. Is that how you would respond?
If I'm Italy, let's see. If I'm Italy in this position, I don't know. I'd probably tell France, dude, have Tunis. Take it with an army. Whatever, man. That's yours. But getting anything else from me is going to be a bitch and a half. So, get the next setter from England.
That makes sense.
That's probably what I would tell Austria, because you can fight over Tunis, right? You build your fleet in Naples, they convoy into North Africa, and then you bounce in Tunis, but they build a fleet in Marseille, so they've got the edge, and they're probably going to take Tunis from you within the next 2 years, and so you can fight it and lose, or hopefully you can just make peace with the French and let the French go their own way. And then once the French get out of Tunis, you go back in and take Tunis.
Yep.
And so if that's the plan, then yeah, killing Austria fast seems good.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is what he decided to go with, at least in his negotiations at this point, with me. I guess we'll see whether he actually went with that. I do need to point out the Constantinople to Bulgaria move. There was another podcast analysing this game as it was going on. You can check it out by going to Edwin Sullivan's Diplomacy channel, which is a great watch. I strongly recommend it. I threw in a lot of invalid orders and stupid moves in this just to mess with their commentary a little bit. So if you see my units doing random things that don't matter, that's why. Obviously, well, in diplomacy rules, if you attack your own unit, it doesn't cut support, so that unit isn't doing anything.
Yeah, you're just holding in Constantinople.
Do you want to move on to? Yeah.
Let's do it.
To here. Winter
Builds.
1901. Builds.
Dude, this France has some cojones, man. Jeez.
Double fleet.
Look, man, France is just gonna die. So the reason why I said France, quote, needed an army build is Germany looks at this, and if you're France, you build a fleet Brest. You know what you're not doing with fleet Brest? You're not moving it into Picardy. Okay?
Yep.
You might be moving it in English Channel, maybe Mid-Atlantic, I'm not sure which, but you're not moving it into Picardy. So, if I'm Germany, I say, oh, so I can move into Picardy and move into Burgundy, and then I will have 2 on Paris, and France will have a unit in Gascony at best. Meaning Paris is a guaranteed capture, basically.
Yep.
And I'll be in Burgundy still. And from this, I talk to England and I say, hey, England, I'm going to take Paris this year. From there, I will support you into Brest. And I know you tried to take Denmark, but you didn't. No harm, no foul. St. Petersburg is mighty fine this time of year. And then I would just assume this EG just works because it's designed to work together. It's so easy to demilitarize and segment with so much potential for growth. It's begging for that to happen.
It should be noted we did just see England attack Denmark, so
yeah,
that
exactly.
EG, from a negotiation standpoint, might
no
not
harm, no
be
foul. You tried to take
yeah.
Denmark. You had a really sick plan that was gorgeous, and if it had succeeded, I would have been really, really happy. But it didn't, Like, I'm gonna kick this Russian out of the Baltic Sea. You can get yourself into Finland and then convoy into Norway and retake Sweden, and like, that's boom. You get Sweden and St. Petersburg, and I get Paris and Marseille, and we're golden. And like, I would just assume this works.
Yep.
And again, it's like the it's on Germany here to make the idea to say, look, I'm gonna be peaceful with England now. England's the one who attacked me, but I'm gonna just say no to that war.
Yeah.
That double fleet build is just begging to get killed. I bet he doesn't get punished for it. I bet he emerges from this totally fine, and Germany says, yeah, he built 2 fleets. He's not a threat to me anymore. He can't do anything. I'm going to leave him alone and he does other nonsense.
Will you be disappointed in Germany if he does that?
I would be really sad if Germany doesn't just kill France right now.
We will have to see on that front. Any thoughts on the rest of the builds?
I dare you to name more standard builds. I dare you.
I mean, they are extremely standard. We've even got the Russian Army Moscow, which is like playing it safe. Can go anywhere kind of thing.
Yeah, like I would have been excited to see like a Russian fleet, St. Petersburg, South Coast. That would have been sick. Because then it's saying Germany, let's dance. But
yeah,
but this seems a little better.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I have no thoughts on the rest of the build. It's really standard stuff.
Yep.
Let's see what some of these people do. In Germany, I want to see Burgundy and Picardy, man. I want to see it so badly.
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly point out we're gonna be doing the power rankings at the end of every second year. So for now, we'll just skip over it just to save some time. All right, spring 1902. Let's move to that.
All right, so let's ignore the Balkans for now because that's going to take some time to interpret. Germany is what? Baby, all right, that's okay. So yeah, he's got an EF, and he made really defensive moves in the FG. Excuse me. There's an FG, and the bounce out of Skagerrak is great. It means that Denmark is not gonna fall, unless it could still fall. Baltic can no, it can't. Yeah. Okay, so Denmark doesn't fall this turn, which is good. That France move into the English Channel, I guess, just doesn't really do anything.
Okay, so when you say he's got an FG, do you are you paying attention to the Belgium to Burgundy move? What are your thoughts on that?
But like, come on, if you're gonna attack France, you're gonna take Picardy and Burgundy. Like, is he just gonna dot France for stupid Paris? Is that really the best he's got?
If you go to Picardy and Burgundy, you still only get Paris, right?
Yeah, this turn, but like suddenly you've told England what's up, and then England knows that we're doing the thing, and it's gonna be a lot easier to get into Brest the following turn. I don't know, man. Look, if at least move Munich into Tyrolia so it can go into Piedmont, like at least do that. But like this is saying I'm not going to attack France, or I'm going to dot France while fighting England and Russia.
Which seems like a bad idea, yeah.
But like that move to Burgundy just looks like he wanted to like put the fear of God into France, tell France what's up, and then not capitalize. That's what I feel. Or maybe he thought that Marseille was an army instead of a fleet, and he wanted to bounce in Burgundy.
Right.
Or whatever.
I think I'm not overstepping my bounds in my knowledge of the West to say that he did not think Marseille was an army.
Good. That was low on my list of expectations.
So what is your thought that he's just gonna stay in Burgundy and make sure France works with him that way?
Look impressive. Look terrifying and scary. Like, dotting Paris here is crazy. Like,
he's got no one on side.
It's just there's a French fleet in the English Channel and a British fleet in the North Sea. So if France gets pissed at you, then he just supports England and Belgium, and you're like, oh, huh. well, that was a useful unit of mine. And like, whatever.
Well, yeah, the German moves in general, despite the fact he's fighting England and Russia and maybe France, debatable, but
the tactics were excellent.
yeah, they're pretty good. He managed to bounce back London and North, which means that in order for London to do anything, there has to be no convoy in the full turn. Plus, obviously, it's got the benefit of not having three English fleets adjacent to Denmark, or 4.
Well, 3 English fleets plus the Russian fleet, so it's yeah. This seems like a very effective turn. I'm questioning that army in Berlin now. If he was expecting to do something like this, then that should have been a fleet, because kicking that Russian fleet out of the Baltic Sea is a higher priority, I think, than not.
Would you build double fleet if you weren't 100% sure that France was going double fleet as well, though? Because I feel like that's what Army Berlin is important.
If you're building 2 fleets, I don't know. Like, you're still getting an army built, right? I would never recommend double fleet, no army, but I think 2 fleets plus an army in this position where Russia's in the Baltic Sea is more important. Again, my feeling would have been doing everything I can to negotiate my way out of this instead of like just tactically duking it out. But like I would have been trying to support Russia into Sweden, right? That's like the number one thing I would have been trying to do this whole time. And then I'd be like, look, Russia, you could have moved into Sweden. I was willing to move to I let you take Sweden last turn, but you didn't want it. Like, let's get back on track here. I would be trying really hard to get that Baltic fleet on side. But if it's not, if I think I'm going to have to be fighting Russia, then I need to get rid of that fleet in the Baltic Sea.
Right.
Because you can't hold long term.
So do you think the German moves are a failure on the negotiation front for Germany then?
I mean, it has to be, right?
If he had offered support from Baltic to Sweden and Russia hadn't taken it, then he does end up with those 4 fleets around Denmark, and there's no way he can defend against that if they just choose to go after him.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't think Russia's going after but if I don't think Russia's going after Sweden, then I'm going to build a fleet in Berlin and then support myself into the Baltic from Berlin. With Denmark while Kiel covers hell. And so then either you kick him out of the Baltic Sea, or England uses his fleet in the North Sea to cut the support from Denmark, and so England is still not in the Skagerrak. So you're still going to be fine. And suddenly Russia is no longer in the Baltic Sea, and so you're better able to defend.
Yep.
But if you're hoping that you can get Russia out, maybe you build the army and then discover later you couldn't get him. You couldn't talk him out of it. And if he's in this position where these negotiations have failed, why is he moving into Burgundy? Like,
yep, that's the biggest point of all. Belgium to Burgundy is the really questionable move here.
All right, so we're like, I'm pretty confident we are going to see Germany just get crushed. We might see him hold and go down valiantly, but from this position, I think it is incredibly likely that Germany just dies, and that England gets by far the most out of it. Like, England's already gotten Sweden and Norway just for free, so...
But if England's getting by far the most out of it, isn't that a good reason for Russia not to work with them?
Yeah, I would assume so, but I expect that Germany says something to piss off the Russian. I think he's, like, insulted his mother or something, so... Maybe. I would love to see Denmark support Baltic into Sweden next turn. I would love to see it. But...
Well, before we get to seeing whether that's right or not...
Let's have a look at the Balkans.
Well, first off, the convoy to North Africa. Obviously, we've kind of touched on that in France not putting anything back to defend against Germany, but do you think it's an effective move? Do you think it's necessary?
I mean, I don't know. Like, look, it is if you're trying to take Tunis and you really want to take Tunis, it is necessary. Because you just have to do it. The problem is you're still not going to take Tunis this turn if Italy doesn't want you to. And in fact, it's so awkward that you have to let Italy take Tunis before you can recapture it. Just because the tactics, right? Like if Italy supports an attack into Tunis from the Tyrrhenian Sea, you only have 2 on Tunis. Italy only has 2 on Tunis, and so for you need to first kick him out of the Tyrrhenian Sea. So you'd have Western Med support Gulf of Leon into the Tyrrhenian Sea, and then but North Africa is only 1 strength on Tunis, so Italy takes Tunis first, and then next year you can take Tunis.
Yeah.
So it's really awkward. Obviously, if you get help from the Turk or the Austrian and have them tap Ionian, it's a different story. But I'm assuming that doesn't happen this turn, and I suspect the GNC has other things to do, and I suspect Albania has other things to do. But maybe not.
Well, with that, let's take a quick look at what happened in the Balkans here.
Yeah, you helped Balki into Serbia.
Yep, so actually Balki was supported by 2 different people. One against Bulgaria and one against Serbia over there.
Yep, good for him. It's a place you want to be, right?
He took Serbia, so he is now out of Greece. He's got the position on Austria in the north. He does have 2 Turkish units on Greece if they want to attack it.
And Serbia went off the board too, because there is no space to retreat to.
Yep.
Yeah, this Austrian player looks rough.
Important to note, this was, I can confirm as a player who was here, it was Russian, Turkish, Italian, complete coordination. The Russian cut on Budapest wasn't accidental in any way. That was specifically to ensure Serbia died. So
what's the split you guys have agreed? You get Greece, Italy gets Serbia and Trieste, and Russia gets Vienna, Budapest?
So I don't think the split was solidly agreed at this point. I think Balki was trying to Balki in Italy was trying to play myself and Russia off against each other already at this point, and saying, okay, as soon as I have Serbia and Trieste, I'll support you against the other one. Right?
Sure.
Which is a good line to take. The problem is we were obviously cross-referencing. We both knew he was talking to both of us like that, so the best solution from our perspective was just to
kill him.
Well, both tell him that we were going to go along with it and then consider not going along with it when we got to that point.
Sure.
But that's something to see what happens when the Austrian goes down.
And the Austrian, you guys have all determined it was best to just let the Austrian go down because you're not getting enough out of it?
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, specifically, this was great, getting the Italian unit out of Greece and then having nothing in Greece afterwards. That's
seems
about
good.
as perfect as you can be. So I was really happy with this plan.
Yeah, plus with the French fleet in the west, it's likely Italy is going to be tied up with their fleets there, so you're going to be the major eastern fleet.
Yep. So
guy.
A lot of this, not my doing. I'm in a pretty good position off the gate, I think, but mainly because France decided to go south, which was nothing to do with me. Italy decided he wanted Greece and then to go up to Serbia, which, again, not much to do with me. I didn't want him in Greece because of the possibility that he would
just say, hey, Greece is nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
But now I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, so the only one we haven't really talked about is this Russian move from Moscow into Livonia.
Yep. Interesting.
Which is odd. I would have expected a move into Warsaw or potentially Ukraine. Maybe even St. Petersburg if he was worried about England attacking St. Petersburg. But this move into Livonia the advantage of Livonia over Warsaw, for example, is that it can convoy into Berlin via the Baltic, and it borders St. Petersburg, versus Warsaw, which borders Silesia and Galicia in addition, and Ukraine. I don't know. I think...
the biggest thing there is that if if you do need to cover St. Petersburg, you can. Although you'd think if England was going to stab you, they'd have just gone straight into St. Petersburg,
Just
right?
walk in, right? And so as a result, you can't even cover it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem like there's any edge there. I'm not sure.
So, it's an interesting one. It's
Is he going to try to convoy into Sweden? There's no way the Russian would agree, or the German would agree to that. Germany would just support you in from the Baltic. Maybe so I guess he's saying this unit is going to Prussia no matter what. And there is a chance that Austria would have bounced in Galicia. And so as a result, if I moved it into Warsaw, I wouldn't make it to Prussia. Livonia is always going to Prussia. So that's why. Okay. That's really bad news bears for Germany.
I mean, we all kind of knew that that Austria wasn't going to Galicia because all of his neighbours were cross-referencing what he was saying, and you have to tell someone the truth, generally, especially if you don't think you're in as bad a situation as you actually are.
Yeah, if you're more comfortable than if you're comfortable, you're generally not lying to everyone. If you're aware that you're getting attacked by everyone, then lying to everyone and telling nobody what you're actually doing is sometimes effective because they're cross-referencing, but nobody actually knows what you're doing, and then you just do something completely random, and then you sometimes can last a little longer and hope they break up their alliance. But even still, right, if you know for a fact that Moscow is trying to get to Prussia by the end of the year, you should move it into Livonia instead of Warsaw.
Yep, that makes sense. Just in case.
Yeah, just on the random chance something happens, and so this way, to me as Germany, I get really upset. Shall we see if I'm right?
Yeah, let's move on to the fall of 1902. So there you go, the move into Prussia did occur, as you thought it would.
Oh my god.
What do you want to look up first?
Oh man. Just. Alright, so first let's talk about France.
Okay.
So. France successfully got Austria to cut the Ionian Sea. He did that. However, he didn't then capitalize on it by taking Tunis. He still took the Tyrrhenian Sea. Which,
Yep. It does mean Italy doesn't get a build. The fact that Italy doesn't get into Tunis, but
yeah, but he didn't capture Tunis for himself, so he's a year slow, but it's not actually that much of a problem here because Germany went right back to Munich.
Yep, you were right.
Germany
on that
said,
one.
"Oh my God, everyone is attacking me. Sorry, France, I love you. Please don't kill me."
Yep.
And England said, "Hey, I like Belgium. I hear it's nice this time of year." And Germany, instead of, if you're Germany and you're trying to make peace with France, why do you go back into Munich instead of trying to cover Belgium? Right? Did Holland support English Channel into Belgium?
Holland just held.
So yeah, and then France did the natural thing, saying, "Oh, Germany's in Belgium or in Burgundy. I guess England, go take Belgium." I don't know.
Yep.
Germany is in rough shape.
Yeah, that's painful. Obviously, we do see the effects here of that London fleet being completely useless. The fact that it was blocked in by the last move, but
Yep, that's important. It's just there's a fleet in the English Channel. It's a French fleet, not an English fleet, but it does the same thing.
Yep, and obviously England got into Belgium, which could be a huge problem for Germany here.
With an army. That's an army in Belgium.
It is.
This is yikes territory for Germany. But I've predicted Germany was going to explode, and Austria is doomed, so this is looking like a pretty simple corners game. Crush the rest of the map combined. Sorry?
Do you think France made the right move here, supporting the English army into Belgium?
So if I was France, I would have asked Germany to support me into Belgium. I would have said, look, Germany, Belgium's toast. You're not going to be able to hold against me and England and Russia. You're going to get broken. So, give me Belgium, I'll build Fleet Brest, and I will support you against the evil British. As an exchange, you don't take Paris. And I would be like hitting him in the head with it. But because that didn't happen, yeah, I'm all in favor of of France helping England against Germany. I think that it's expected that Germany just takes Paris last turn. Like, that's the point of the move to Burgundy. And so I think as France, you have to just assume you're at war with Germany.
Yep. That's pretty reasonable.
It's a shame now England's up 2 builds, though. That's just tough.
Yeah.
But like, as France, I'd rather do this than take it myself while coordinating with England about it, because then England moves to English Channel every time.
That's true. So, not a lot of progress made anywhere else against Germany except for the move into Prussia, but he's still in a pretty dire situation because
yeah,
of the
you say
discount.
not a lot, but that army in Prussia is a huge deal now, because this is just enough pressure, because Germany has to disband a unit. What unit can Germany afford to lose and come close to holding anywhere? Or come close to holding everywhere, I should say.
There's not really any, right? Because there's two enemy units on Berlin. There's 3 enemy units on Denmark. There's 2 enemy units on Holland there. The French unit coming back up to Marseille could be a problem. Yeah.
Let's assume that the French army doesn't even affect anything, right? Let's assume the French army just holds in Marseille. Like, with this British army in Belgium, what defensive orders can you put in here as Germany?
Well, you have to choose a unit to take off the board first, which I assume...
It's got to be Munich.
Munich, yep.
It has to be Munich, but the problem now is you need to have something support holding Berlin. So Kiel support holds Berlin is the only legal option. And then you need to have something support holding Holland. So that's going to be Helgel and Bite, now that Kiel can't do it. And so that means that Denmark is unsupported. And there's literally nothing supporting Denmark. So this is a case where you would need to know, like, you just can't, right? Let's see. What's the move order you can put in that breaks no matter what?
I don't know if there's a 100%,
So assuming that you blow up Munich... Yeah, if Germany read your orders, Germany could still defend.
Oh, actually no, because you could just attack Berlin with 2 and attack Denmark with 2, and Kiel has to choose one of the 2 to
Yeah, but
defend.
Helgeland supports... Exactly, so Kiel supports Berlin, Helgeland supports Denmark.
So it is a guessing game, but it's a guessing game where Germany has the disadvantage, because...
Yeah, Germany has to win like 2 guesses every turn, and England could at any point in time say, I'm going to wait for a turn on the guess and move into Skagerrak, and you're still toast. And if there's an army built in London, and then France is willing to convoy that army into Belgium, then you're just even more toast, because now Belgium can even move into Ruhr, and this is Germany's toast within a couple of years.
Nice thing right now is that there can't be an army built in London, because London is occupied, but England did get 2 builds off of this.
Yeah, so like Fleet Eddie, Army Liverpool are the equivalent.
Yep.
Yeah, so Germany is gonna die within a couple of years. That's just gonna happen now. Maybe if like Russia builds a fleet, St. Pete North Coast, that could save him, but that ain't happening. This is gonna be an Army Warsaw. Yeah, and you're just looking golden. You're in Turkey. You're getting another build, like a 5-center Turkey is the key, and it's gonna be another fleet, and then you're gonna have more fleets than anybody else. So.
Yeah, we can take a look at the south side of the board here. Well, let's have a look at France. Well, we already did have a look at France's moves here, right? Let's have a look at the Balkan/Austria.
I mean, Austria just tried to defend, and I think Austrians' defensive moves here were just correct. you can't hold Budapest from this position anyways, and so this is the best way to defend Trieste to ensure you don't lose Trieste and Budapest.
Yep.
Slows down his demise. But I don't know. This is just nice coordination between you, Russia, and Italy, and now.
Yeah, you can't really hold out against 3 people attacking you at once. You just have to hope someone turns on someone else or offer what deal you can, which I can confirm Austria at this point basically just said, I'm out to screw Italy. He screwed me over here.
That's a good line. Pick your player that you try to screw over and then hope that you can make things happen. But it's not going to matter.
Italy was very, very, he was
sad.
doing, well, yes, obviously, but he was also doing his thing of repeatedly requesting the same thing.
What did he request this time?
With me leaving him Greece so that he could build a unit to go against France. That was not something I compromised on. I was like, I need a build here. I'm not going to just sit here and get
do nothing.
Squeezed. Yeah. I want to keep on par with Russia, and you've obviously got the build in Trieste coming up at some point, so I want something.
Yep.
Yeah, and he couldn't really do anything about it because of France on his border.
Yep.
So my plan here, just roll with Russia, because I've got 5 units.
Just hilariously, if he got to see the orders put in first, he actually could have. Because he can have Tyrrhenian Sea bounce out of Tunis, and he can have Serbia support himself into Greece, and he can still bounce out of Greece and not lose anything else.
That's absolutely true.
Hilariously. But, of course, he can't read that. He can't know that going in, but...
Yeah.
Just funny how these moves turned out.
Interestingly, none of us predicted Albania to Ionian. That was a complete blindside.
I mean, if you're trying to screw over Italy, it looked like we discussed it earlier, how that's a pretty good way to ensure France can take Tunis.
Yep.
Although I don't think he communicated that to France.
That's very possible, actually. I mean, he didn't tell us exactly what he was doing. He just said, I don't want Italy to get anything.
Yeah.
So...
He's doing his best.
Yeah, we're supposed to do power rankings. Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, so what are you thinking power rankings-wise? Wait, shall we move to the winter here, or...?
Let's just show builds. Sure, let's show builds first.
Yep. So, going ahead to builds. We've got
Cool.
Army Venice, Army Moscow, Fleet Smyrna, and this is the interesting ones for you at least, probably. Fleet Liverpool, Army Edinburgh, and remove Fleet Heligoland Bight.
Well, another interesting one is is for Italy. That's Army Venice instead of rebuilding that fleet.
Oh yeah, there's actually a few interesting ones. That's
yeah. This is a neat build phase. So for power rankings, I want to do that first. And builds are going to be involved in my discussion of the power rankings. So Austria is on the bottom. Poor Austria.
okay.
2 center Austria.
Yep, that's pretty reasonable, getting ganged up on by 3 people, and even if they do split up, they probably will still continue to run him over. It's not a good situation for him.
Okay, next, bottom. I'm debating between Italy and Germany here. I'm not sure entirely whose position is worse. I think it's Germany. I think despite Germany having an extra units, I would actually rather play the Italian position than the German position. Because I think Italy has better outs to stabilizing.
Right.
This is still awkward. I would not want to play Italy, but I think it's possible you can get France and Turkey to war with each other over the Ionian, and you can just sort of sit there tight in Rome and Naples, and then survive. Maybe you can capture Trieste, and Turkey forgets he's got 2 on Serbia. I don't know. Look, Italy is not a great place either. But
it's better than being completely destroyed.
I feel like Germany is just gonna be screwed and crushed.
That makes sense.
I could see the argument for Germany, right? So for Italy to survive, Italy needs people to not try to kill him. And I just think that's more likely than for the people to not kill Germany. But the argument could be, look, guys, England has an army in Belgium, is building Fleet Liverpool, has Fleet London in the North Sea, and so now, and all of France's fleets are in the south. So England has a good opportunity to hit the French player right now and kill him. And if that happens, there's a chance Germany can escape unscathed. So I could see a really solid argument for Germany to be higher placed than Italy. I personally would put it the other way, but whatever. So of the rest of them, I think France is definitely next. I would much rather be Russia, Turkey, or England than France.
Is that just because of how hard he's committed in the south?
Too many fleets in the south. The good news is, because of that Italian fleet disband, he can actually get Western Med back into mid-Atlantic. So he is in a relatively okay defensive position. But it's still feeling dangerous when you've only got 2 fleets in the north against England's 3. But, again, it's still tenable. If England doesn't attack him, he's in super solid shape. He's getting a build. It's unclear where his next build is.
Yes.
Because he can take Tunis, but cracking the Italian homeland is not trivial, and everything's tough. So I would definitely, France is definitely the next tier. I think it's a pretty clear bottom 3, France top 3.
Right.
Now in the top 3, I'm not sure. So England, I think, has the most immediate growth potential.
Okay.
I think he can get the most from Germany. Germany blew up his fleet, so England's going to have an easy time running amok. France has nothing in the north. But the Juggernaut Alliance is a very stable alliance. That is going to give both Russia and Turkey tons of security. And both Russia and Turkey can still grow in the south. And as far as long-term growth potential, I feel like Turkey might have England beat here. And Russia, of course, has both of them beat, but Russia's counterpoint is sees Russia.
Russia can get attacked from all sides. Turkey and England can't. Yep.
Yeah. So I personally would say Turkey. Turkey is the player I would most want to be in this game.
Huzzah!
And then I would say England is second and Russia is third. But this is my personal preference because I just hate playing Russia. I think on balance you're going to see people preferring. I don't know. I feel like Russia is just really difficult to navigate from this position because it's just hard to grow. Like, also that army in Moscow. Why isn't that army in Warsaw? Because I would expect you want to build the army in Warsaw so you can move it into Silesia so you have more pressure on to Berlin. Or you put it in Warsaw so you can move it into Galicia so you can help with the Balkans. But Moscow is saying, like, I want to defend St. Petersburg still because England might attack it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Moscow is sort of the... it's the very, very flexible option, but it doesn't push you forward anywhere, really. Arguably, he might need to go for the flexible option just because the 2 of the strongest players on the board are his neighbours, right?
Yeah, but I was saying that those players were strong because of their pretty clear paths forward here. Of Turkey takes Serbia, and then gets into Ionian, works with France to cut up the remains of Italy, and then Trieste, and then sits. Either stabs Russia or pushes through France if France extends to the north. For England, his pretty clear path is attack Germany, grow, and then stab France. Neither one of these paths involve messing with Russia in the short to mid-term, which is where Moscow would be useful. And instead, I feel like Russia should be more concerned about growing and consolidating his position from a more strategic level, saying, how am I going to keep myself from getting stabbed by these 2 strong nations in the long run? And it looks like he's trying to make this with Turkey to say Turkey's not allowed to build an army, so Turkey can't ever stab me. And England's not allowed into Norway, so Hank can't stab me. Which is a pretty solid path, and it's working, so why Moscow?
Yep, it's a good point. I guess we'll have to see what he does with it. He might just send it into Warsaw anyway, and then it's a year delayed, but...
half turn, right?
Half a year delayed.
But it's that half a year. That's the... If it was in Warsaw, it moves into Silesia and can help him take Berlin this turn. Moscow cannot do that.
Yep.
So he might be a full year back because of this half a year delay. And we'll see. I think we can look at some of the moves for next year after that power rankings.
Okay.
Are there any power rankings you disagree with because of your interpretation of the board or because of press?
I can just say from a press standpoint, the strongest negotiating players on the board, from my perspective, were, interestingly enough, Germany, which doesn't match up with what you're seeing on the board at all, unless he's being ganged up on for being good at press. Russia, once you got past the language barrier, the conversation was a bit stilted, but once it got into just full-on strategy talk, he was very, very good at that. And Italy to an extent, although when you were seeing through what he was trying to push on you, it wasn't as strong. So from a negotiating standpoint, England, France, and Austria at this point were all fairly weak on that front. That's from the Turkish perspective, though, so you wouldn't expect England and France to be amazingly...
I was going to say, when I'm England and France, I don't spend my time thinking about how to frame my press to Turkey. I say, hey, Turkey, you exist. Bye. Although, for France, in this case, I would be very active with Turkey as France here, because in this game, France is going to take the role of Italy as the fleet power in the Mediterranean, but the Western version.
Yes.
So this game, he needs to negotiate, and if I'm France, I try desperately hard to not let Turkey build that next fleet. I want him to build armies and say, look, we can keep our fleet count in the south to 2, I'll take whatever, you take whatever, and then you attack Russia. And that's how we settle it. But this fleet is going to be bad news for France.
Yeah. I did not see any of that kind of negotiation from France. At least not this far.
All right.
So, the other thing to mention here, the builds, the English builds. What do you think of Fleet Liverpool?
I mean, I don't know. England builds fleets, wants to convoy an army, but also wants more fleets. So, like, not that many spots available, right? If I'm France, I'm gonna move Western Med to Mid-Atlantic Ocean next turn, no matter what. Whereas if there wasn't Fleet Liverpool, I could maybe consider moving it into like Gulf of Leon or something. But with Fleet Liverpool, you got to get back into Mid-Atlantic.
So, interestingly, I don't know whether this is true because England hasn't published his after-action report, but Italy claimed that he convinced England to build Fleet Liverpool here.
Cool.
Which would be a fantastic move on Italy's part, right? You definitely want France to be moving back.
It would do the thing.
Yes.
Interestingly, also fantastic for you.
Yep. Absolutely. I was pretty responsible for the Italian army being built as opposed to a fleet, because I was aware that France wasn't going to get a lot out of the Italian peninsula, and I kind of wanted to be the force.
You want those centers.
Yeah, I wanted to be the fleet power in the east, right?
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to get Tunis if France is going to put this many fleets on it, but I am going to have a shot at Italy if I do go that way, and I don't want him to have fleets to defend Ionian with.
You want him to have only the one fleet so you can support yourself into Ionian, but if there's a fleet in Naples, you have to get that fleet from Ankara into the Mediterranean proper, or wait for another build. But this way, you're just going to get into Ionian this year.
Yep.
Unless France supports him. Maybe that's possible.
The idea behind the Army Venice build was Russia and I put Venice into Trieste, and he covers Roman Naples with Ionian and Tuscany, and I backfill Ionian with Aegean.
Cool. That sounds like a good plan for you.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. I can't remember if we ended up going going with the plan where Serbia goes to Trieste or where Venice goes to Trieste, but we'll move on to that. Hang on.
If I'm you, I'd rather see Venice move to Trieste.
Yeah.
Because that feels like he's overextending even more. But let's, I want to see... What am I most curious about this next turn? I want to see what England does. If I'm England, I am almost certainly going to spend an extra year killing Germany before I attack France. So if I'm England here, this turn I'm going to like move North Sea to Helgoland Bight, London to North Sea, and then like Liverpool to North Atlantic Ocean or something. Maybe I misorder Liverpool. I'd probably do that.
Misorder as in keep it in Liverpool?
Yeah, keep it in Liverpool. Maybe you move to North Atlantic Ocean, whatever. But I want to see if England does this, or if England says, I want to take English Channel and move Belgium into Burgundy, or the equivalent. Probably Picardy, if for England. I would expect to see him attack Germany.
I think you're going to be interested by these spring moves then. Let's move on to that.
Alright. England, buddy. England, my main man.
What's your reaction on that?
It makes me cry. England, I told you to stay here for one more year, baby. God, you could have crippled Germany. Oh my God.
Do you not think that attacking Russia is worth?
Well, Russia was supporting you into Denmark? Jeez. Sorry, what was that?
Do you not think it's worth attacking Russia here then? I know the answer to this already, I think. But,
no! You're gonna get St. Petersburg. He built an army in Moscow. He's clearly not letting you take St. Petersburg forever. Like, oh, good lord! This was you had it made. You were set, and then you threw it all away. And interesting, France decided to leave to just convoy right back to Spain. That's effective. That's a good way to defend as well. I personally would have been more interested in getting into Mid-Atlantic Ocean first, and then convoying into Spain, because now you're locked out of Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Now England with his two fleets here can support himself in the mid, and you're toast. Right? Your fleets are going to be locked in the south, and you can't realistically get back in time. And, like, you're also in danger of Tunis, like, France could have held, but I suppose it's fair to not do that. This move seems fine. I'm not too opposed to that. And this gets your army back.
I guess the thinking is probably, you might get your army stuck if you have to. If you have to be using your fleets on Mid-Atlantic Ocean, there might be a point where you can't get the army back from Tunis, and then it's kind of horrible.
Yeah, the point is you still have a fleet in Tyrrhenian Sea, which once your fleet's in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean, you can move back into Western Med and then convoy out pretty easily.
Yep.
So I would be more tempted to have this turn moved Western Med, Mid-Atlantic, Tyrrhenian Sea, Western Med, North Africa, Tunis, if you're only putting one unit on Tunis, which this convoy guarantees. But this seems fine, and in this case, he got Germany's support anyways, so I don't expect France to lose anything, really. He's in Spain. Yeah, I think France did a great job defending here, recognizing the stab and the imminent stab. England just killed Germany, dude!
Yep, so England's strategy appears to be going for France and Russia.
Yeah, he just turned it into an EG. Just Germany's down to one fleet, let's do it.
So I'm guessing your opinion on Germany's position probably gets a bit better after that.
Yeah, significantly. Like, I was just assuming Germany's position was bad because England's best line, I thought, was to kill Germany. And England apparently disagreed with me.
Definitely seems that way. What do you think about German support of Marseille to Burgundy?
Perfect.
And English channel to Picardy is a little more questionable.
If you were expecting France to move Belgium somewhere, Picardy is a plausible place, and you wanted to not let him into Picardy, because as France, you don't have enough armies to realistically support all of your stuff. And so if there's that army in Picardy, you suddenly have to defend Brest and Paris. But
Yeah.
now you don't have to defend both of them, and if they take the time to support themselves into Picardy, they're not controlling Mid-Atlantic. However, they can still bounce you out of Mid-Atlantic. So again, I think France's position is going to be fine, but it's going to require Germany to decide to attack England, which is of course if I'm Germany, that's what I'm going to be doing. Like,
I mean, it looks like Germany already made that decision with the support up to Burgundy, but obviously they got another decision to make coming up, because that was when they thought England was probably against them, and now they've got a pretty solid sign England isn't.
yeah, now England is pretty clearly on Germany's side, getting out of Sweden, not attacking Denmark. God, England, buddy. Look, man, hypothetically, let's just say that you do a really simple move order. Support North Sea into Denmark, London in the North Sea.
He didn't get support of North Sea to Denmark, just as a heads up. It was Edinburgh.
Yeah, but he does it with
Denmark,
Sweden because he wants to convoy Eddie, right? The Baltic
Yeah.
Sea, I don't think Russia cares that much, but like England was probably saying he wants to convoy this turn, which he did, right? Like England, whatever.
Do you see the problem with the English moves against Russia in the north? The very blatant problem.
Oh, what problem? The fact that Sweden is open?
Yeah, if he goes for St. Petersburg with 2, which he has to,
He's not. He's gonna lose Sweden. Yeah.
he's gonna lose Sweden 100%.
Yeah. This just whatever. And look, he's probably losing Sweden anyways because Germany is probably supporting Baltic Sea into Sweden, or Prussia into Sweden, but probably Baltic Sea into Sweden while Prussia moves to Livonia. And like, whatever, man.
Yep. Seems like it could be a painful phase up ahead for England if things, if Germany doesn't side
Well,
with
England's
him.
not going to lose anything, right? England has gotten himself into a position, or herself, I'm not sure.
Himself.
But England is in a position where, sorry, was it her or him?
Him. All of the players in this.
So England is in a position where there's only one fleet from each other nation in the north, and they're not particularly well placed. That fleet in Picardy is not ideal. Fleet Baltic is not good against England, and Fleet Denmark is good. Fleet Denmark is a good fleet. But other than that, there's no other fleets, and so it's really tough to actually take things from England, except for like exactly Sweden. And if he's losing Sweden, he's gaining St. Pete. So
I mean, Sweden and Belgium, right?
Belgium is extended. I agree. It's still difficult to lose. Oh, never mind. There's two units on it plus Germany. Yeah, sorry, 2 French units plus the German unit.
Yeah, actually, there's 3 English units on it as well. It would just require English Channel to be focused on it, which I'm not sure is the best move for England. Given
Yeah, I mean, English Channel moving into Brest has effectively cutting Picardy support because it means that if England loses Belgium, he gets Brest.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a trade that England would be very happy to make, to be honest. Anyways, this turn from England, F minus. F. Just terrible play. Ugh, really makes me sad to see. As for Russia, I think Russia did a good job. Like, pretty standard stuff. Covers the retreat into Romania. This Moscow hold looks real good, because England was clearly considering attacking St. Pete, and now it commits England to 2 units to St. Pete, so this whole tactic around Sweden is opened. So Moscow hold, fantastic move. And then I like the Baltic Sea supporting Edinburgh into Denmark. I think that's good. You want there to be an army there. You want to work with England to just kill Germany. Like, this is really good. And then in the south, like, whatever. This was a turn that happened. Like,
Yeah. There's not a... Well, there is a little bit to talk about in the south.
For you, it went perfectly.
Yeah. So I stabbed Italy here, going all in
Oh,
on the
because no
general.
one saw that coming.
Yeah. I mean, Italy didn't really have much of a choice, right?
Exactly, right? It was like, what's Italy going to do? Have Ionian tap Greece? Would have worked pretty sick here.
Yep. I mean, Austria already really disliked Italy, so he's not going to get Austrian support anywhere, especially with Austria's own centres under threat. So his only play was really to put his trust in the alliances he created, and I think both myself and Russia were just... It's just too good to not go with him here.
Yeah, and it's like, once you see that third fleet from the Turk, it's just, your toast is Italy. Like, I bet he knew it was coming, but there's just, what else was he going to do? Was he going, he could have attacked Trieste from Serbia. Oh, of course that's the play. What? Oh, come on, Italy. No way. That's not acceptable.
I should say I was pretty heavily playing into the thing that I was going to go along with him here, which
was let him have the things and you attack Russia?
Yeah, basically. Arguably, I shouldn't have done that because a lot of these games come down to how much someone likes you.
At the end, when they decide to throw?
And
That's
me
fair.
telling Italy here that I was going to go along with him was unnecessary. I could have stabbed him either way.
Not quite. Again, if he taps Greece, you're in really awkward shape.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it was really important that you kept him on side.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The and getting into the Ionian here was also like
Just huge, right? You got into the Ionian with one fleet, like, super fast. There's no only, like, I think it was very important you kept him on side.
okay. See, this is also the fact that this phase of the game happened so long ago. It's kind of hard to remember exactly what my reasons were.
Yeah, well,
But
they were good. So I think Germany's position improved the most this turn by everyone's. Like, the German position went from, I thought, worse than the Italian to potentially better than the English position, hilariously. Maybe not. It can't be. There's no way.
depends a lot on what happens with the alliances. England can have all the units he wants, but if he's got no allies, it's not going to get him anywhere.
Exactly, and it looks like he stabbed both of his allies, and it looks like Germany is going to capitalize on it. Well, jeez.
England's hope is basically in Germany saying, I'll work with you here, which
Yeah, if I'm Germany, what's the upside?
I don't see much of one. Like,
Right, if I'm Germany, I'm like thinking, who can I grow off of here pretty quickly? Okay, I see Belgium, that's a useful thought. I see Sweden, that's a useful thought. I see Warsaw, that's a difficult thought with Galicia and Moscow and Prussia there. I see Paris. Maybe if you were willing to support me into Burgundy last turn, Paris would have been a good dot, but that didn't happen, so where can I grow?
And I mean, you also see that if you don't attack England here, he's getting the better side of the deal by a long way because he can bring units against France pretty quickly here. He also already has the units against Russia, so he's got places to grow.
Yeah, and after he attacks France, he's already got 2 armies. It seems likely that he's gonna have armies in like Paris or whatever, and that's not where the German wants the English armies. So, if I'm Germany here, I'm absolutely trying to attack England again, and I expect him to have success here. It looks like he already had success with France by supporting France into Burgundy, and Russia is not going to be happy about England here. So yeah, I think your position on the board is now the best by a lot. Like, a lot. I just don't see how this goes badly for you from here. I don't see any universe where this board ends with, like, a Turkish elimination.
Well, shall we move on to the next phase?
All right.
Because I think that's a very good note to move on to the next phase with.
What do you mean? Captain Meme? Why are you moving into the Black Sea?
Okay. So, Black Sea was actually an arranged bounce here. Does that change your opinion on it at all?
I mean, it makes your move make more sense, but like, dude. All right, sorry. We'll get back to you. You guy. Oh my God, France? No. Wow.
Do you want to go more specifically into what you're getting annoyed about with France here?
Why does France move from Western Mediterranean Sea instead of covering Mid-Atlantic Ocean? Oh my God, France.
Also got to love Spain to Portugal, right?
What's that? I mean, that's fine. Whatever. You can self-bounce in Spain sometime. It's not that bad. Portugal's a great square.
I mean,
but
it's arguably a lot worse than just being in Spain, right? Because Spain
arguably,
at least could go defend your homeland.
So just so we're clear, I agree. However, I found that when I have very rarely been sad moving a unit into Portugal. Very rarely. I generally move fleets into Portugal, not armies. Generally move fleets, but I'm just generally happy to have my armies in Portugal. The problem is, like, he's losing Brest, right? Brest is just donezo. Guaranteed. Super cleanly.
Except that France does have a build. From Tunis.
Tunis, yeah. Okay, so fleet Brest, he holds Brest. Maybe. Probably not, because Picardy still gets cut.
Picardy to English Channel. What do you think of that one?
Instead of supporting himself into Belgium.
Or covering Brest.
Whatever, man. Look, he should have supported himself into Belgium, right? Like, what did English Channel do?
English Channel's support held.
Held Belgium.
And Belgium support
fine.
North Sea into Holland. Holland attempted to support Burgundy into Belgium. Both of them got
cut from North Sea.
Neither of them wins.
Yep. But yeah, so this turn was just like really good for Germany. Germany didn't lose anything. Germany was working with France. Russia convoyed out of Prussia. Like,
notably without support from Germany. Still got in.
Yeah, Germany went to tap the North Sea instead.
Yep.
I'm not sure if anything was promised there. If I'm Germany, I'm not going to support that because Denmark. There are definitely universes where Denmark cutting North Sea is important. Hypothetically, if North Sea had supported Belgium into Holland, and Germany didn't cut that, this could have gone very poorly for Germany.
Yep.
So I think it's important to make that cut.
That makes sense. The Russian did turn around and go for Sweden, which is reasonable. Do you think Prussia to Sweden is, well, it's obviously less pro-German than Prussia to Livonia and Baltic to Sweden, right?
Yes, but there's also the argument that this might just be better. Because the army in Sweden is a better positioned army than an army in Livonia. But then the question is, would you rather have an army in Livonia and a fleet in Sweden versus an army in Sweden and a fleet in the Baltic? And I suspect the answer is you'd rather have the army in Livonia and fleet in Sweden if you're purely attacking England. So this seems like a case of cool move syndrome. People like convoys, so he made a convoy.
Convoys are cool. It's undisputable.
But like, if he just hypothetically, if he has his fleet in Sweden and his army in Livonia, next turn he attacks St. Petersburg from Livonia, while Sweden cuts Norway, and then St. Petersburg is captured, and then the following turn, he cuts Norway, so he can't lose Sweden, and it's just So
the only thing this strikes me as better against is if England and Germany make up, right, and attack Sweden with a joint attack on the next turn. But that seems fairly unlikely.
If they make up, I would still rather have the fleet in Sweden so we retake St. Pete. Because we're not holding Sweden if England and Germany make up.
I mean, you could. You just wouldn't take St. Petersburg, right? You just have to order Baltic support Sweden. And...
Yeah, like, there are tactical shots to hold it temporarily, but as the alliance goes, you're just not going to be able to hold Sweden against both of them.
That makes
so
sense.
They're going to retake Sweden, but St. Petersburg you can realistically hold against them. And so it's better to hold the thing you can hold rather than hold the thing you can't.
Yep, I got you.
Alright, so now in the south, we see you just having a bad turn. It's not the worst stab in the world. Like... Oh, what did Budapest do?
Okay, so Budapest attempted to support Trieste to Serbia. I had advance notice of that from the Austrian.
Wait, you had advance notice of that and you didn't cover Bulgaria?
See, I found this out when I was looking over messages today to, like, refresh my memory on some of it, and I do not remember knowing that Trieste was going to Serbia, but apparently I did, because it's in the messages. So I have no idea why I didn't cover Bulgaria here. It seems like the obvious thing. I think my thinking was, is he really just going to let me walk into Black Sea instead of bouncing me there when he's arranged a bounce with me there?
Yes.
The answer was yes. But
now he builds a fleet in Sev, and now your fleet in the Black Sea doesn't do anything. Because he takes the Black Sea next turn.
That's also true.
If you... Meme, I am very disappointed.
I can understand that. I did think, like... I guess my main thoughts on the topic was Russia isn't really gonna betray this...
Russia should just take Vienna because he's gonna grow a lot from Vienna.
Yeah. Because we knew Trieste was getting tapped. We knew Italy was going for that anyway. I helped assist Trieste here to buy
and you had Serbia supporting Trieste, so Turkey's not gonna... So Italy's not taking Trieste even when Russia takes Vienna. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
It's just when... Yeah, knowing that he was attacking Serbia, you kind of have to bounce out of Bulgaria. And look, I understand going for the agreed upon bounce. And like, again, Eastern Med to Aegean is an important move here. Frequently that move doesn't matter, but here it's a really important move to get in. And Italy's position looks great now. Italy can just...
Italy does have one disband, but yes, there's very little chance of any coordination to take him out.
Yeah, not really. And you and Austria... Yeah, this is going to be an awkward war for you.
Yep. See, I think what my thinking was that, hang on, if Trieste is going to Serbia, I'm better off support holding Serbia, just in case, and doing the Black Sea bounce, right? Because there's that potential of Austria taking that support, but, like, looking back at it, why would Austria have told me if he was taking that support? So, I don't get my own play here. I think I had a real lapse of judgment.
Yeah, if there's no press, right, I can agree it, because it's like, yeah, I mean, sometimes you want to get Khan back into the Black Sea, but, like... Alright, so new board strength positions... England is high. England is high again. Yeah, I don't know. I want to be playing England again. Jeez.
So, the fact that Germany supports France against England, the fact that Russia's also against England, you really want to be playing England again?
Yeah.
All on your own?
I've got a lot of fleets, man.
It is a very strong position in Mid-Atlantic Ocean, English Channel, North.
How is France going to get back into here, right? France moved out of the Western Med. Is he really going to come back into Western Med and then break me out of Mid-Atlantic? Because if he doesn't, I'm going to sit in Mid-Atlantic and English Channel and feeling pretty good. Okay, you know what? I take it back. Because I'm in St. Petersburg and, like, I can't... I can't get out of St. Petersburg. I would love to support the Russian against Germany, but like I wanted to attack Germany like 2 turns ago, right? I feel like I guess at this point, because England has thrown away all of his potential relationships into the garbage, it's probably pretty tough to play England. I think actually, if I were taking over a position when there's the announcement, X player has taken over the position, I think I would have a good time as England, because it's really clear it's a new player.
Yeah.
Previous negotiations are out the window. Let's work something out. But I think, given that it's still the same player, I feel like his relationships are pretty far gone. God,
Yeah.
I don't want to play Russia. Russia dotting you there seems really suspect. Like, really suspect. I suppose. Yeah, no, I just would not want to play Russia.
So a little backstory on that. That was, or at least Russia told me this at the time, and I think he's confirmed it later on with me, that this dotting was because Germany was threatening him that the entire rest of the board would gang up on us if it was a juggernaut.
But like, what's the rest of the board gonna do?
That was my sort of feeling on it too. It felt like a really bad stab. And he would have gained a lot more by just going to Vienna.
Taking Vienna!
But, I mean, maybe even if he wanted to be particularly stabby, he could have taken Vienna and Bulgaria at the same time.
Yeah, just dot you with the fleet while still taking Vienna? Okay, sure. And then you give Bulgaria back and you say, look, I'm gonna get the worst end of the deal when they gang up on me. I'm taking Bulgaria. No.
Yep.
But this is a yikes. Dude, I don't want to play anyone. Can I just leave this board? Everyone's position sucks.
The one thing I did want to go back to, you've already touched on it, is the French supporting Western Mediterranean to Tyrrhenian Sea, Western Mediterranean even.
Yeah.
You've touched on why not going to Mid-Atlantic Ocean was a bad idea. I also think, what is he gonna do from Tyrrhenian Sea? Right? Because
good question. Yeah. I absolutely agree. That is a fair question.
that seems he's not gonna get into Italy with these two fleets. Italy is too solidly defended. I was never going to help him. He wasn't even asking me for help. So it was like,
yeah,
seemed like a bad move to me.
But look, so my hope is that France gets its fleet back into Western Med and it cracks back into the Mid-Atlantic Ocean and like doesn't do it when England can retreat into Spain. But like that's tough to set up. Everyone's position feels terrible. I think I would still most like to be in your position, CaptainMeme.
Even with the Russian fleet in Bulgaria and the Russian army in Romania?
Yeah, I mean, with the... Sorry, I'm looking at the build. I cheated. I went to
okay.
see the army in Sev and the fleet in Brest.
So that took a lot of negotiating, but...
Yeah, sorry, I'm at this position. I'm at the... Once there's an army in Sev, your position is amazing. How did you do that? How?
That was just a lot of negotiation.
But like, what did you sell him? Did you say, hey, look, here's like $100,000. I'll like, give me your PayPal. Like, here you go.
If I recall correctly, my pitch was that I would have given him Bulgaria if he had just asked me for it, and had made it clear that Germany was threatening him, and that as long as he didn't build fleets of Astapol, we could continue working together in some respect. But if I saw fleets of Astapol, I was just going to attack him. I don't know whether you would have bought that. He did, so that worked for me.
I don't know, man. If I'm Russia, though, I've just taken the center from you. You have only one fleet in the Black Sea. I need a second fleet, so I take the Black Sea, and then I have the leverage in our negotiations.
I would agree with that, generally speaking. The army Sevastopol build I think did come out of an attempt to try and appease me and go back to working with me in some respect, maybe realizing that Austria suddenly has a stronger position than he did and might push back out into Budapest.
Yeah, and if you're working together, then and if you personally are at war with Russia, then it might be fine. The counterpoint is, Italy is going to be attacking Trieste forever, so Vienna is stuck support holding Trieste forever. So it's not exactly clear that Austria or Italy are going to get to do anything for the rest of the game. But it's possible they could work something out, and Austria can get Budapest and get it built out.
There's always a possibility. Something else to consider, Austria was offered the chance to go to Serbia, and I think said that he would go to Serbia last phase, and did not, so...
He got paced at Austria?
I don't think he got annoyed at Austria so much as he saw that I'd support held the Austrian unit, and Austria had not gone against me, so there may be some chance of Turkish-Austrian coordination. And Italy had made it clear that his anger was directed at Austria, not at me as well, so he's not getting any support.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much support they could do. I suppose Albania could make things awkward.
Yeah, I really tried to get Italy to remove Albania from the board here, which
That would have made your position much better, because now Austria doesn't have to worry so much about Trieste.
But
I think you made the right decision here.
Yeah, Italy kept Albania on the board so that he could keep on attacking Austria, basically. He also said that Albania would be much better for my game because he had no intention of attacking me, which I wasn't certain I believed at the time, but...
Okay, although to be fair, if Italy really wants to kill Austria, he should have blown the fleet Naples, and then he moves Venice into Tyrolia and Rome into Venice, and then he takes Trieste.
Yeah, that's...
Right, this line of, I want to attack Austria is not... He wants to say he's only going to attack Austria. Whatever. But yeah, after these builds, I love your position, and nobody else's position really changed with the builds, because they were all implicit and assumed.
Alright, so you would play Turkey.
I would play Turkey, dude. I'm also going to curl up into a ball again, right? Aegean to Con, Ionian to Aegean, Greece supports Serbia to Bull, Black does whatever. Black probably taps Romania, and I tell Austria that I'm tapping Romania.
So you're looking for the blowing up the Bulgarian fleet mainly here.
Oh, that fleet is off the board, and then I'm going to be convoying into Armenia, and then getting my army back into Bulgaria, and then just saying, Russia, let's dance, pretty boy.
Shall we move on to
let's do it.
Spring?
You just walk into Bulgaria, don't you?
Well, there you go. I did pretty much the moves you said, except not Ionian back to Aegean. Ionian stayed in the Ionian.
But then it got forced. Oh no, it's support held. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The Ionian convoying Albania to Apulia was another troll order to try and confuse the commentators. So ignore that one.
Okay.
But Russia does get into Serbia, and he gets Austrian support here.
Yeah.
The Austrian gave that support because I said that was fine. He basically tipped me off about it in advance and said, I want to look like
and the
I'm
support
working
was
with
cut
Russia.
anyways, so did it actually matter?
No, it didn't in the slightest. I knew I was going from Serbia to Bulgaria here, so...
Interestingly, here we could have been greedier, right? We could have had Black Sea support Greece into Bulgaria. Oh no, then Serbia still retreats. Never mind.
Yeah, Serbia gets blown up in that case, right? Oh no, it doesn't, because Greece...
No, retreats to Greece.
Yeah, so it's the same position.
But either way, this is we're still just going to war with Russia now, because Russia's stupid. And let's look at the north. So
north is interesting.
Yeah, England just backed out of St. Petersburg, and Russia let England into Sweden.
Yep.
And Germany's out of Berlin. And this looks to me like it's just a simple France-Germany versus England, and England But France isn't making progress back towards the Mid-Atlantic Ocean. How does France expect to win this war if he doesn't retake Mid-Atlantic ever?
It's a good question.
The answer is he doesn't. He never does. So yeah, France can't do anything anymore in this game. Glad he got that sorted out.
I mean, he's defending pretty handily, although his Portugal-Spain thing had to be a guess here.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be a guess whenever England wants it.
Yep. The double cut on English Channel seems smart to me, because if you push English Channel down to Brest, then Picardy gets into the English Channel and has a shot at the English home supply centres.
Unless he used North Sea to move English Channel.
That is a potential, and that would have been a horrible position.
Yeah.
But he did know that as long as he cut English Channel here, Belgium was coming off the board, right?
Unless it got convoyed out, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and Kiel was, yeah. I mean, I don't know. So, like, yeah, France is going to hold, and Germany's going to get another build, and because of Germany vacating Berlin, it's plausible that's a fleet build, which would be very nice for Germany. Berlin is not ideal, but it's good enough.
And that's...
Although, do you think that the English and the Russians worked things out?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, the convoy back to Livonia seems to indicate that he didn't intend to keep Sweden, so you would think he worked.
But it also wasn't into Prussia, so he's not going after Germany. It's like he just made peace in the north and said, all right, you guys, you know what, I'll take St. Petersburg, England, Germany, figure it out. I have a fleet in the Baltic. Whatever.
I don't actually remember whether Russia and England coordinated this or not. I think they I'm pretty sure they coordinated it to some degree.
This looks like a coordinated move sequence.
It seems like they're still quite entangled just because of the English fleet in Bothnia that needs to get out. So you would think Bothnia would be the best unit to put in Sweden, not Norway.
Yeah, but it can't go from St. Pete to Sweden in one turn, and so now maybe England can support himself from the Denmark or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if Russia and England work together, Russia can still cut Kiel, and then maybe they don't actually move Gulf of Bothnia into Sweden. Maybe they just vacate Sweden. Maybe that's how they work it out.
That's possible. So, is there anything else to look at here?
I mean, we saw the expected Italy attacking Trieste. Vienna support hold Trieste.
Yep.
So, like, those moves I expect to see for a long time, unless, like, someone supports it to break it. And, yeah, in the south, Russia has 0 fleets now, so this is going to be a stalemate, basically. Because you can't get back... Oh, you can't get back into Serbia, because there's nothing else going to support it. Never mind, you're just in fantastic shape. Never
it's
mind.
A pretty decent position, I would say.
Yeah, you're just golden. You're retaking Serbia. You're gonna be +1. You get to build another army. Yeah. All right. So you're gonna win this game.
It's a bit early to call it, I feel.
I don't. Nah, this is gonna be a Turkey win. I can feel it.
All right. Well, shall we move to the fall?
Just don't mess it up.
Well,
all right. Let's look at this fall.
Here's the fall moves.
Huh. I feel like you might have messed it up. I'm not sure, but these do not look like what I was expecting you to do.
They're interesting moves for sure.
Yeah,
there's a lot to break down. I guess let's focus on Serbia, Romania, and Sevastopol, right?
Yeah, seems legit. So Serbia got attacked, and was Serbia supposed to be supporting Romania into Bulgaria?
No. So myself and the Russian came to a deal here that he would keep the centers that he had, and I would basically keep the centers that I had, and we'd take the opportunity for me to demilitarize the Black Sea. And
cool. Yeah, you demilitarized the Black Sea into Romania.
Yep, he was not I don't think he was hoping for me to go that way. I should say Black Sea to Romania was a bit of a last-minute change. No, Black Sea was always going to Romania. I think I had Bulgaria supporting Albania to Serbia for a while, and then thought, whatever,
this
maybe
looks a lot better.
Maybe Black Sea to Romania might work, so I'll just stick that on there instead.
Yeah, I mean, if I was you, I would have been very, very tempted to flip it. Black Sea supports Bulgaria to Romania, and then Constantinople moves to Bulgaria.
Yeah, I did not know that he wasn't going to be supporting Hold Romania.
Yeah, okay, and now you have a fleet in the Aegean Sea instead of being in Con. Yeah, that's a fair flip.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, all right.
But yeah, in my mind, this was the only center trade that would have happened here was Albania getting into Serbia. I was not expecting to get into Romania.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wasn't thinking about giving the Italian a center. I was thinking about just getting Serbia for yourself.
Yeah.
And then backfilling into Bulgaria, but this works. I kind of like the Russian orders, actually. Because this is a way to both defend Romania and defend Serbia, or at least bounce you out of Bulgaria from backfilling. Had you done the order set that I was proposing, which was simply Greece supports Bulgaria into Serbia, while Black Sea cuts Romania, and Constantinople backfills Bull, he bounces you out of Bulgaria, and it's net neutral, center count.
Yep.
So that would have been really good from the Russians. I really do like these move orders, but you getting the Italian army to the equation really screwed it.
Yeah.
And of course, then Austria took Budapest.
Yes, so the Austrian taking Budapest was like the last 10 minutes of the phase frantic negotiation between him and me, because he wanted to stay on the Russian side here, and he wasn't confident that Italy wasn't going to take Trieste.
Sure.
But he did go for it eventually. I managed to convince him that Italy was going to Serbia instead. I was really, really hoping Italy would get a build and be able to push France back, because at this point I was pretty confident that Italy was in my corner.
But then Italy decided he didn't like Naples very much.
No, that was just a guess. He thought that France was going to go for Rome, because why would you go for Naples here? It's like the least likely place to be open.
Hey man, look, this turn looked hilarious for the French in the south. He just ends up in the Ionian and Naples, and now there's going to be an Italian fleet, and just his fleets are now exposed, right? There's nothing, they're on the back line, but there's nothing supporting them. And then for England, this turn looks like a bunch of nonsense. Like, England walks into Spain because that's what you do. And
yes, so in the north it looks like England is trying to do what you were proposing, right? To work with Russia, get...
Not quite, because England had both Gulf of Bothnia move back to Sweden.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so England was going to take the centre. It was like a slightly more England-sided version of the deal.
As in, Russia gets nothing and England gets everything.
Precisely. Unless the move into Norway was arranged, which I'm pretty sure it wasn't. So, yeah.
Why would you rather... If you're England, you'd always rather have Norway and give Russia Sweden and vice versa.
Yeah, probably.
No, this is just... England was, trying to get everything from his negotiation and didn't want to give anything up. And as a result, got super punished, because he lost St. Pete and Norway and didn't get Sweden and didn't get Denmark. So Sweden is net down 1, even though he walked into Spain.
It's painful.
And Russia is in Sweden, gained St. Petersburg, gained Norway, but lost Bulgaria, Romania, and Budapest.
Yep, but also got a unit taken off the board, so he got 2 units taken off the board, even the Bulgarian fleet as well. So he gets 2 builds out of this. It's kind of amusing that he got decimated so much in the south and still builds twice.
Yeah, geez. So, positioning. Yeah, you're number 1 and everyone else sucks.
Well, what do you think of Germany's position here? Especially the move Munich to Tyrolia.
I love that move. I think it's fantastic. Did he get a build? Did he get a build? He's gonna build Fleet Berlin?
Did he get a build? Oh, he got Belgium, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Germany's position is definitely second place. I'll definitely grant you that. But like, come on.
Okay.
Come on, dude.
Let me rearrange some of these power rankings then. So you want Turkey at the top, then Germany.
Yeah, Germany second.
Then
Can I put Austria as third? Is that insane? But I kind of think Austria is in almost third place here.
It is a surprisingly strong position for a 3-center one. There's no...
Right? He has no enemies.
I mean, Italy is an enemy, but Italy isn't an enemy who can actually do anything against him, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. Italy's in a position where it's like, will Turkey let me take Serbia? Yes, no. And hopefully the answer is yes, and the reason why is if Turkey says no, I have leverage against the Turk because I can help the Russian back into Romania now. Like, and then as Austria, this German army in Tyrolia does make things a little awkward, but if I'm Austria, hopefully I'm the one who got the German to move it there, in which case, maybe he's going to support me into Venice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can actually confirm that. Germany was very pro-Austria at this point, and that move was seen as most likely to help the Austrian Allies in some way.
Yeah, so like this is really really good news for Austria. I think realistically you have to say Russia is third after you and Germany. I think it's just required. He's just big.
Okay.
He's everywhere, and like he had a really good turn against England here. How many is England bringing off?
England got Spain, so yeah, he's only taking one off.
But like he's working with Germany. He's at war with you. If he can get the Austrian on side, he's gonna regain some of what he lost in the south. Yeah, I think Russia has to be third, and then France is fourth, just by virtue of being France, basically.
Okay, so Austria is not up top.
No, Austria is not actually third. Austria is...
Oh, I was hoping you believed for a moment.
Oh, come on. Austria's position is great fun. I probably enjoy playing it more, but like it is not a better position than Russia's or France's or even England's, despite England's like not ideal negotiation tactics by pissing off everyone repeatedly.
So you're putting Turkey, Germany, Russia, then France, then England? Yeah, well, I mean, that seems... France is definitely a stronger position than England here, right?
Yeah, I mean, France is building one. England is removing one. I think that's all you got to know, right?
Is France building one?
He gained... Oh,
Spain.
No, he lost Spain. Excuse me. Nope, France is even... Nope. Sorry about that.
Alright.
Yeah, but France is even, retaking Spain.
Yeah, it's still stronger than the English position, right? England's really screwed by the fact he's got 2 units in Finland and Bothnia. That it makes sense to get rid of both of them, but he can only disband one right now.
Yeah. Huh.
They can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, like, they could have done things if he was more willing to negotiate in good faith, I think. This just seems like he wanted too much from everyone. And even when he had everything he wanted in this attack on Germany, he just threw it all away like a year ago. Alright, well, let's just see how you steamroll this game from here.
Okay, so Turkey, Germany, Russia, then France, then England, then Austria, then Italy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Right.
Maybe on a good day I'll put Austria over England, but that is not this day.
Shall we move to winter, just to the builds here?
Yeah.
Okay, Army Smyrna, Army Vienna, Army Moscow.
So, Russia only had one build then, right? If he didn't wave a build?
Hang on. Yeah, sorry, because he lost 3 in the south and gained 2 in the north, right? He already owned Sweden.
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so this seems... How are you going to ever take Sevastopol?
Good question. Very good question.
Yeah, so you're going to truce with Russia now, right? You're just going to, like, move into the Black Sea and tell Russia, look, baby, we can go back to the Juggernaut. It's not too late. It's never too late if we just believe.
It's an interesting thought. What do you think about the English disband being Spain?
I love it. France, baby. I know I've wronged you. I've said some things I shouldn't have, and I've done things I regret. But I miss you. I miss the fun times we had together. Please. Please take me back. I love you. And that's what I interpret this message as. And you know what? As far as, like, sad letters to your ex, I feel like this one is better than most. As for everything else about his position, just...
Yep.
Sorry, Germany. Or, sorry, England.
I mean, Finland, Bosnia still can't do anything, even with 2 units.
So now you can maybe talk... So here I tell Germany, hey, I'm supporting you into Sweden. We can pop Sweden off the board. I'm going to cut Norway, and I'm going to support you into Sweden from Denmark. You move into the Baltic Sea. Boom. Then next turn, I'll retake Sweden. I can do that myself, and then I'll be supporting you into whatever. The Russians out of position, overextended, and look, man, you can still stab France. We can go back to the EG from years ago, and now you're gonna gain as much as I do. Let's do it, baby. You're bigger than me. Let's do it.
Do you reckon it works?
No. Well, like, what else am I gonna do? What?
Yep. I mean, it's about as good a pitch as you can do.
Like, they've got just too much on us. We can't hold this position. Like, even if we try to hold the North Sea, or the English Channel with the North Sea, Denmark can cut it. So France is looking like he's about to end up in the English Channel, and there's going to be German armies in the mainland within days. So, yeah, that's my pitch as England. My pitch as Germany is... Actually, if I'm Germany and I get that pitch from England, I do think long and hard about it. Because it looks to me like the England has tried really hard to work with me this game, against his best interest. But maybe we can work something out here. Maybe he'll help me into Sweden, and then I, like, make an aggressive move against France, but, like, I don't actually do anything bad to France. And then France keeps England's units tied up. And then maybe I hold Norway next turn, so England doesn't actually retake Norway, so England is still tied up in the south, down 1, and then I just kill England. So, like, maybe I kind of split the difference there, but I don't expect this Germany would. That seems like a not optimal play. And then for you, yeah, you need to make peace with Russia real quick, dude, because you're not going to get anything.
That's a pretty reasonable take. What do you think about the 2 French fleets in the Mediterranean?
Naples and Ionian? I feel like they're hilarious, and they're going to do a fat lot of nothing.
I mean...
That's my,
it's a reasonable take.
Big opinion. Yeah, hot take.
He did get an Italian center, which was probably what he was aiming for.
Amazing. A miracle.
All of that over there. But,
yeah, it was a miracle.
It was a very, very lucky guess.
Or a genius guess. You never know.
Well, yeah. I mean, by definition of it working, it was a genius guess.
Yeah, the problem is, like, how long is he going to hang on to Naples? Because I have a feeling there's going to be a Turkish army supported into the Ionian Sea, or Turkish fleet, excuse me, and then that fleet is going to have a rough time of it. Dude, I'm liking Austria positions more and more, man. Look, he's going to get into Venice, he's going to support himself into Trieste, and then he's going to take Serbia. Like, look at that. It's just glorious. He's going to be building 2 this year. I can feel it.
Well, shall we move ahead to Spring 05?
Let's do it.
Have a look at this. Ignore the Romanian supporting Ionian Sea into Norway. That's That's just because I don't like entering hold orders. But what part do you want to talk about first?
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot going on here. Okay, so first things first. Let's just look at the simplest player on the board. I'm gonna argue that's the Austrian, who did the thing.
Yep.
Vienna to Trieste, Trieste to Venice. He's got 2 on Serbia, and he's in Venice. Cool. That's what we were hoping for. Next, Italy. Italy seems pretty straightforward. Supporting you into Albania, get unit on Trieste, and getting into Apulia, so you can actually force that disband of Naples.
Yep.
Cool. That's a line. That works.
It's a little bit of a gamble, because... Wait, is it a gamble at all? No, Naples is always
this is
disbanded,
guaranteeing.
yeah.
This is guaranteeing disbanding Naples.
Yeah. Sorry, I am forgetting what we arranged. It was a while ago.
Yeah. So then for you with the Russian, you support held Romania. I don't know how I feel about that. So here, my instinct is trying to get Romania back into the Black Sea, because Back in Black is the name of a good album. So I try to live by that rule. However, if Russia had supported himself into Romania and moved Moscow into Sev, you would not be able to retake Romania without Italian support. That said, I would expect Italian support, so I would expect you to be able to get back into, or Austrian support from Budapest, right? I would expect support into Romania from Bulgaria next turn, and this way you're actually getting an edge in the position, but this seems fine.
Yep.
So I think the South seems relatively straightforward here, right? That all works, and that's just gas. In the North, we've got some moves.
We
do. I'm really happy with what the French is doing here. Getting their fleets from really bad squares into really good squares. That's just really good.
Yep.
Brest and Mid-Atlantic Ocean are a lot better than Brest and Picardy.
And they're not even necessarily not anti-England squares. They're just temporarily anti-England squares. You can very quickly pivot that round anyway.
Yeah, but they better be anti-England moves. What?
Well, yeah. Sorry, I mean, it's pretty clear that he's made a deal with England here, yes?
Yeah, England is backing out of English Channel, and he is potentially getting his fleets into the south to help defend Tunis.
Yeah. So the nice thing about these French moves, in my eyes, is that they're agreeing to the deal with the Englishmen while still being anti-English. English.
Yeah. Right, it's yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is why the fleet in Picardy is so problematic for France, because it is gonna go to war with England. It's so hard to not to.
Yep.
So the rest of the moves. So let's look at Germany next, because Germany did a bunch of nonsense. By that I mean I don't think Germany did anything except supporting his fleet into the Baltic Sea.
He also supported Austria into Venice.
Yes. His units did not move though, so that's fine. His armies are sitting still. He's still trying to work out his thing with Russia and whatever. In the meantime, England got himself into Sweden and into Norway, because Norway moved into Finland. So England is in good shape again in the fight in the north.
Yep. So Russia made a bad guess here, right? Well, was it a bad guess? It was an attempt to disband the Finnish army. Sweden and St. Petersburg both support Norway's Finland.
So if I'm England here, my play is absolutely to attempt to disband the fleet in the Skagerrak. Right? We say, I'm going to cut Denmark, I'm going to attack Skagerrak from Norway, and Gulf of Bothnia is going to support Baltic Sea into Sweden, or the equivalent. because I want to get that Russian fleet off the board, and this does a relatively good job of it. Unless Russia supports himself into Norway with Finland and St. Petersburg, which seems, or actually just St. Petersburg, because then it's just a bounce. Okay, so Gulf of Bothnia needs to tap St. Petersburg then. Okay. Yeah, so England looks like it's going to get the Russian fleet off the board and be down to 3 fleets. One of them is in Gulf of Bothnia, which is not ideal. Yeah, England's toast. Yikes. Yikes.
My internet just went down because, unfortunately, due to COVID circumstances, I'm at my parents' house, so that's why we're not live streaming this. So apologies if the commentary is a bit disjointed, because I don't remember what we were talking about. Do you?
We were looking at some moves. I'm not sure exactly where you cut out, unfortunately. There were moves on the board. We were probably discussing people being bad, as we tend to do.
Well, we can go from wherever you got up to, and I'll just include that audio from you discussing it with yourself, I guess.
Yeah, I did a lot of talking to myself. I think I got through basically everyone's moves for this turn. I feel like I just talked through it all.
Okay.
I was explaining how England's position is just awful.
I might just give a little bit of insight into my own negotiation then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the big thing here was that Russia's key point on working together was no fleet in the Black Sea.
Yeah, huh?
Yep. Which I think you can predict by the fact I didn't put my fleet in the Black Sea, because there's very little other reason not to put move Bulgaria up and move Romania out.
Oh, I actually did address that. Yeah, I talked about that pretty extensively. And what I was pointing to was the tactical shot that if you'd moved Romania into the Black Sea and Russia attacked Romania from Sevastopol with support from Ukraine and moved Moscow into Sev, you could not retake Romania yourself. You would have instead had to guess as to Romania or Sev.
I was pretty confident I had Italian support on whatever I was going to do at this point. He was very pro-me, in general.
Yeah. I remember describing that.
Yeah. So I don't know that my move of keeping Rum where it was actually a good idea. I think I assume you said this already, but Bulgaria moving up was probably better, even with Russia putting a caveat that I wasn't supposed to go to Black Sea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the time, it seemed like the best idea to me.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're in a good position. Don't fix what ain't broken.
If anything, my problem here was maybe just being too indecisive because everyone liked me.
Yep, absolutely. You gotta piss somebody off. What's the phrase? You gotta break some eggs to make an omelet?
Yep.
The eggs in this case are the heads of your allies, so. Alright, I think we can go on to some next moves, though.
Yep. Let's move on to Fall 05 then.
Oh my god.
Yup.
Meme.
Okay.
Alright, I understand why you're not very good at turkey. I understand. I can give you advice on how to improve your turkey play, Captain Meme.
Is said advice move Smyrna to Armenia?
Said advice does include move Smyrna to Armenia. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yep. I do have an explanation for that, but I'm going to let you go.
I had an aneurysm. Alright, great. So, okay. You still were holding in Romania because you're scared. And you let Italy get Italy's not disbanding. And you're in position to take Tunis. Cool. Great. So you're not gonna die this game, but like, you're also not gonna get anywhere.
Hmm.
And you might die. There's an army in Armenia. All right, that's fine. Now let's have a look at the north and see what England did to make the most of his terrible situation. The answer is he did not make the most of his terrible situation. Yeah, he lost Norway and Sweden. He didn't get to disband SCAD.
Actually, it probably is worth me giving my view on the press here, because it explains a lot of this. It's kind of hard to see what exactly happened in the north.
In the north? Cool. I mean, it looks to me like England just lost everything and Russia got everything he wanted.
Yeah, so England's moves were Sweden to Denmark, North Sea support Sweden to Denmark, Norway support Finland into Sweden. The reason for that was that a board-wide coalition formed at this point against France, Germany, Austria, who were seen as a pretty tight three. And if you have that three being tight, I think it's pretty solidly guaranteed that one of them wins the game unless there's a pretty big pushback, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that Russia is in position to do this, and I'd argue that you're in position to make use of it anyways, but...
Yeah. I mean, Russia definitely is after these moves. The big thing was that Italy pitched this initially in a group chat. It then went into personal chats between myself and Russia and myself and England. And the agreement was basically if England gets stabbed this phase, they will throw to France, Germany.
Okay. Well, he's doing a good job of that.
So the idea was Russia helps England into Denmark, England gives Russia Sweden, so they move together on the north. My part of that deal was that I wouldn't move aggressively towards Russia.
Cool. Is moving into Armenia aggressive against Russia?
See, that's the problem, right? And this is another thing I can't comprehend about my own past self's play, and I just want to batter him over the head with something and say, get your act together. Why on earth didn't you enter Smyrna to Armenia? I remember Russia being particularly insistent that nothing enter Armenia. We DMZ that province. I don't remember if he... I don't remember what he promised to do in exchange for that. I think he promised to move into Galicia and Ukraine, but I don't know why he would do that in retrospect. Because...
You're then on Sev.
Yeah, then I have free Sev, right?
Yeah, well...
I get myself keeping out of the Black Sea to try and make this coalition happen, but I don't get myself...
But Armenia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well... So...
With in mind that England has basically said he's going to throw if he gets stabbed here and Russia stabs him in the north, do you think that's a good play on the Russian part?
Yeah. Russia got 2 centers.
He did. But that does mean that the 3 English centers go to France.
Well, they were going to France anyways, what?
That's... Well, okay, eventually. But they go to France immediately now.
I mean, okay. Then France gets big, and then Germany says, oh my god, I'm going to lose to France, I have to stab France, and then you make your way from there. But I think if you can order a move sequence that gets you 2 builds you are not entitled to whatsoever, you've done something right.
I think that's a perfectly fair take. It wasn't my take at the time.
Yeah, but you also were just pissed at him for moving into Armenia like a doofus. Those moves are stupid. Right, because the move into Armenia, I don't understand from him. Because what is it going to do in Armenia? Right? I think he was just assuming you were moving into Armenia, and he was trying to bounce you out of Armenia. Because this is a case where both people are better off if they both bounce, but...
That's possible. I mean...
But, like, this is ugly, yikes, terrifying, scary.
Yeah. Because if he was really planning to stab me here, he should have left Sevastopol open so he could get the fleet build, right?
But even the fleet build doesn't even matter. Whatever, it's fine. Yeah, so France's position is still not ideal due to you getting into Tunis and I'm going to have a hard time breaking it, but you're going to have enough pressure on the back that he's probably going to be able to break through eventually. It's going to be a tough stalemate to set up.
Really is.
Yeah, yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Rip England. It was nice knowing you.
Right. So, is there anything more here you want to discuss? What do you think about the German support of the Russian moves in the north here against England?
I mean, Germany's feeling okay. Like, he's still got this beautiful stab on France whenever he wants it.
Yep.
And so he's saying, look, I can help Russia out. And then Russia's going to mess with Turkey for me, and I'm going to use my Austrian puppet to keep Turkey in check, and then I am going to stab France and win.
I mean, yep, that's reasonable. France does get a build here.
Yeah, but that's going to be a fleet, dude. This is France we're talking about. This France hasn't built an army all game.
He actually hasn't. That's a very good point. I had not noticed that. Yeah. So you think France definitely builds a fleet here?
Fleet Marseille, right? He's going to fight for Tunis. Tunis is mine, despite Tunis being clearly lost.
Yep. Well, is there much more to discuss here? Maybe the Austrian move against Serbia? Not a lot to discuss on that. It was the obvious.
he could have gotten a build. He's Austria, who's been on 2 centers this game. What I have observed is once people get down to 2 centers, they become super dot oriented for the rest of the game. And so he's going to do nothing but to move from dot to dot, particularly Austria and the Balkans, because you're Austria and the Balkans. There's dots everywhere.
Yeah, basically every move you make is going to be at a center.
Galicia exists, but whatever. Much else to talk about? Nah.
So, shall we move forward to builds?
Let's do it. Let's look at the builds.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm a genius. Look at me go.
I did not actually realize that Russia didn't get any builds there. He just took back 2 centers that were already his.
Yeah, but he was going to have to drop 2, so...
But yes, you were absolutely correct on the French build there. It is another fleet. He is going to try and keep Tunis, no matter the cost. Yeah.
Oh my god. Alright, I was mostly joking. Like, I made a couple of notable observations, but I thought there was no way he builds Fleet Marseille. But he did, so great. What this... Okay, and then, yeah, dude, Austria's in great shape again.
Yep, 4 centers,
Look at this.
friendly Germany.
All of his home centers are back.
So, he's actually friendly with both Germany and France, although he's still thinking for himself. He's not doing the thing of... There's basically no chance he supports France into Rome here.
Oh, I thought there was... Wait, what? That seems like a really good idea for him to do.
Hang on. Maybe he does... I'm trying to remember when exactly I'm thinking about.
I think it's in the short term, right? He supports France into Rome, but he says, look, long term France, Rome is mine. I'll get you into Naples, so I'll help you into Rome right now, because that's a thing, but then I want you in Naples. And then you get yourself into Rome later, and then you're fine. And in the meantime, you, get into Galicia, and you, put pressure on Romania. How many turns does he have? He's got 5 years? He can still win this game, easy.
Yep. Okay, the thing I'm thinking is, he was always viewed as part of this Germany-France alliance up to this point, but he was never actually in it to the extent that Germany and France are. He was...
Yeah, of course. He could still go for a stab on Germany, I guess.
Yeah.
That seems crazy, but...
It would be, probably a bad idea given how closely myself and Italy are working together at the moment.
And how you're next to all of his centers? Yeah.
Yep. Shall we move into the spring?
Yeah, let's look at the moves and let's cry.
Alright. What's your view here? I'm getting ready to get lambasted again.
I mean, whatever. You missed the guess. It's fine.
What do you reckon about the moves around Romania?
I'm looking at them right now. Did he support hold Romania and you supported Austria into Romania?
Serbia tried to support Bulgaria into Romania.
Okay.
Which was... He knew I was supporting the Austrian into Romania, he just disagreed with me about it and decided to leave his own order in instead.
I think you were supposed to support yourself into Khan from Bulgaria.
Yes, that's definitely a fair take.
It's you're conceding Serbia to the Austrian, but you're already making amends to the Austrian anyways. So, I think that's a fine decision to make. Because you want to be able to retake Ankara.
Yep.
I suppose you still can. You just have to move into Constantinople this turn as opposed to last turn.
Yep.
And then you're not as cleanly able to kick him out of Armenia. Well, whatever. That's not that bad. It's much better than I thought it was. And let's see. I think Austrian does try to support.
No, Austria did not. Austria's support held Trieste with Venice. Italy tried to support France.
Support Tuscany into Venice.
But
sure.
Interesting take from the negotiations that you wouldn't know if you weren't on the board. He never offered that to France. He just did that to confuse the commentators. So if France had taken it, he would have gotten into Venice, but it wasn't ever something that
it was
France
the thing that there was about. Nothing. Yeah. Cool. That's funny. I like you guys trolling the commentators. That's clean. Because I was gonna look at that and be like, ooh, and then no.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the meantime, England is gonna lose Liverpool and London.
Oh, so interesting thing on the English front. What do you think about France convoying the German army into Wales as opposed to just taking London for himself?
If you're going to be convoying the German army, I would have convoyed the German army into Liverpool, so then he takes Edinburgh, and then we take Liverpool and London.
That
if I'm the French player.
Would have been smart. I did not actually see that possibility.
Because that way we get all the centers this turn. Or this year, excuse me.
Yeah. More specifically, I feel like the...
I just wouldn't convoy at all, to be honest.
So you would just take the centers yourself?
Yeah, I would just take the dots, move Spain into Gascony, and then be like, all right, I'm gonna build an army in Paris and Germany. Let's dance. Like Russia's gonna attack you, not me. Like that's my line.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I think it's time.
That's reasonable. I felt like this move of convoying Belgium to Wales was a masterstroke on France's part, right? Because it removes any incentive for Germany to want to stab France for getting all of these centers so quickly.
Yeah, of course. I love the idea of telling him you're convoying it to Wales because you just want Belgium to hold for another turn. But then I think you can just take him out. I don't think Germany can hold here.
But then you're on your own past that point. You've got 4 years left in the game, right?
Okay.
Clearly, Russia is banking on you trying to take all the centers yourself and then is going to try and turn Germany on you.
Yeah, and then Russia stabs Germany and then Germany gets smoked.
Yep.
But Germany's smart enough to realize he's not gonna overextend. No way, we're gonna get 3 centers. There's no way Russia's gonna get 3 centers from Germany that fast. What?
Okay, yeah. You're gonna get Liverpool, Edinburgh, London. Here you're giving up probably one of Liverpool, Edinburgh, London in order to stop Russia getting any of Germany.
But, like, is Germany really going to let Russia walk into his centers? Germany's smarter than that.
I mean, depends what his goal is, right? If he thinks that France is getting seriously strong and is just going to win the game, maybe he does try and stop France at the expense of a center or two to Russia.
I am having a hard time envisioning a circumstance where Russia only gets a center or 2 from Germany. This is looking like it feels Germany is gonna have a really hard time holding on to Munich and Berlin.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I haven't done the actual analysis of it, though. I haven't actually looked at any of the tactical shots here. Because Yeah, it's totally possible this goes very differently. But like with that army in Livonia now, Moscow went to Ukraine, not Warsaw. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Like, of course, Russia can wait some time before he makes his move. Is the point, and so Germany kind of needs to keep an army in like Munich and Berlin at all times, which means that he just doesn't have the pressure to hit France, especially if France gets 2 builds this year. Although France is only going to get 1 build because he's losing Tunis, but then you can just disband Tunis off the board.
Yep.
Like, Turkey's not able to push. Turkey's got his own problems now.
But that
mostly of his own creation.
That would mean giving up Tunis.
Yeah, but Tunis is lost.
But this is France we're talking about. Tunis is
but
their win condition, they believe.
I mean, to be fair, Tunis is a win condition for France
This is
to
true.
get to 18 centers. We're not getting to 18 centers this game. That ain't happening. We're going to get to 12 and then win the game like that.
Yep.
But all right.
I think it just...
I want to go to the next turn.
It represents a bit of a difference between the opinions that you and I have on alliances. I really would not want to go it alone with 4 years left in the game, regardless of how strong that position was, just because of how strong the enemy position would get during that time.
Nah.
Just the focus would be entirely on France here if they hadn't convoyed that army over to Wales.
I don't think there can be coordination between Austria and like Italy and you against France.
It would be very difficult to find that coordination, yeah.
And look at the Russian units in Armenia. Like, that's not going to affect this fight. Right? In 4 years, Sev can like make it into Munich. Actually, take it back. That's only 2 years. Alright, that's pretty fast.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I feel like when you have the opportunity to get so much bigger than the other person who is... And you're the corner power, right? Germany, I don't think could make a move like this. Because Germany's not a corner power. Germany has way more neighbors who are way closer who can attack him. But France can just say, I'm going to get big, come at me. And I think France would be very successful like that.
Well.
But... whatever, here we are. He's playing the, like, more stable route of saying Germany and I are going to be 1 and 2 this game, and one of us is going to stab the other at some point, and that person's going to win.
Yep.
Which, okay, that's a line. That's a good chance to win. It feels like that's closer to 50-50, whereas my line seems, like, I don't know, if you can hold more than 50% of the time, it's better, but if not, it's really bad. I also think that Austria is going to have winning chances this game.
All right, well...
I think Austria is not down and out.
After next phase is our power rankings, I have a feeling I'm going to get lambasted again. Shall we move over to it? Full
Let's
19...
see.
Well, sorry, when you say let's see, are you down to move to the next
Yeah.
one?
Oh, I'm in the moves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm looking at the moves.
So, here we go.
Cool. So, let's see. You retook Ankara. Congratulations.
Yep, and then I lost Bulgaria, I lost Romania, and Austria took Serbia.
Well, Romania was already
Romania
lost.
was lost regardless.
But yeah, Austria gets Serbia. And yeah, so Austria is net +2. You're back down to 5. Not 4, you're at 5 still. Okay. Only off 1. Italy is fine. Yeah, Italy's fine.
Italy did lose their Balkan stronghold, so they're now down to their homes only.
Yeah, to Rome and Naples. But, like, that's fine.
Yeah. I would say I made a massive blunder this phase, just by letting Austria have the position where he could stab for so much. The biggest blunder I made was agreeing to the Austrian demand that I move Albania to Greece. Because once he knew I was doing that, I wasn't support holding Serbia, so he always takes Serbia, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks to me like he was just trying to take Serbia. It doesn't even look like he was trying to take Bulgaria, and he just ended up in Bulgaria.
No, he knew Bulgaria would go. He was, he knew I was going to knock the Russian unit out of Ankara.
Cool. Alright, so in that case, just good play from the Austrian,
Yep.
and he's back in business.
Really solid play from the Austrian, considering he was dead 4 years ago.
Yeah, he was dead to rights, but
Yep.
the Russian made a stab that seemed misinformed, but it's gotten him to this position, which is a solid position. Right, Russia's got winning chances as well. Corner power doing corner power things.
Yep, I do love the German unit just going, my work here is done. Nyom, back off to Munich.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that German unit is really what got Austria back on his feet.
Yep.
Like,
and that's really good for Germany. It's kept the chaos going in the east, as opposed to anyone...
East dramatically.
Yeah, as opposed to me just rolling over stuff. And in...
Yep.
Well, where do you want to talk about at the moment?
I honestly don't really want to talk about anything. The rest of the board seems like really boring. Like nothing happened this turn except for with
Self-bounce in Belgium between France and Germany. The English centres are being slowly taken. Aside from that, nothing much to talk of. German units retreat from Baltic Sea. That's maybe the most important thing here. Right.
Yep. Denmark to Helgoland and Baltic to Denmark is good shuffling.
Yep. It's getting position on North Sea, which is a good thing to have.
Important. Yeah. But France isn't building this turn.
France is not.
France is still neutral. Yeah, whatever. Okay, France, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that was your opportunity. You had your moments, but you lost it.
Is Germany building here? Germany is building here, right? Because he gets London.
Yep, and didn't lose anything. And Russia is building because he gained Romania and didn't lose anything. And Austria is building too.
Yep. And I am going down one, I believe.
I think off one.
Which one do you think I'd take off?
Albania.
It's in Greece now, just...
Greece.
Yeah. Is that just
well,
because...
that's the same unit.
Because it's lost, right?
It's an army. You don't want armies.
Well, I mean, how do I win with just fleets, though?
You're not winning. You're not dying here. This is... Your goal is to hope that something chaotic happens and you survive. And then, in the chaos, Russia pulls units out of Sev and Romania, and Austria has an aneurysm and stabs Germany, and then you, like, gobble up some things, and then you, like, take the Italian centers to the very end.
Right.
Boom.
I should say, yeah, Italy was willing to throw to me all through this, because once he was out of contention, his goal sort of became to make me win. He would count that as a win. I'm not 100% certain why we got to that point, because I had stabbed him, but...
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's good, but obviously it's a bit of a long shot at this point.
Alright, so for power rankings, again...
are we moving to builds, or are we doing power rankings now?
Yeah, let's look at builds first. You've done that previously.
Okay.
I don't know, nothing's going to be interesting, right?
Well...
Oh, you blew up Ankara?
Ankara's off. What do you think about that one?
This feels like one of those plays that people make when they're trying to win, and then it doesn't actually do anything, and it makes their position a lot worse.
Yep. That seems to sum it up pretty nicely. I think it's pretty obvious the only reason I would take that off the board is because I'm getting some kind of deal with Russia, or trying to make some kind of deal with Russia, right?
Yeah, but like he's just gonna say, "Oh, great, your position is way worse. Why do I need to take a deal with you?" Did Russia make any builds other than Army Moscow the entire game?
No, I don't think he did. I genuinely don't think he did. Which is actually hilarious.
Cool.
I mean, it's worked out for him. He's on 7. That's joint highest with Germany right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your power rankings here? It's more difficult than it looks.
I mean, I don't know about that. There's a bunch of centers, a bunch of countries within one center of each other.
Yeah.
Right? Austria, France, Germany, Russia are all at 7. Or 6 or 7.
Yep.
And then you're sitting there at 5. And so it's like, yeesh.
Well, shall we get the easy one done first and put England at the bottom?
Yeah, England's at the bottom and Italy's second to last. Cool.
Yep. So then, do the rest just go in center order, or is there more to it?
There's more to it. For example, Austria is not tied with France. For example, Austria is definitely better than France, and I think better than Russia.
Right.
I
Okay.
think Austria is definitely first or second.
So I am assuming Turkey is third last? Is that correct?
Yes. I'm considering putting France below you, to be honest. But I don't think so. He's going to retake Tunis. Because of course he's going to retake Tunis. But because he's going to do that, I'm not sure he's going to be able... I think he's going to put himself in worse position to win the game than you are from here. But you have a unit next to your home centers and France doesn't, so like, alright, France is going to be higher than you, yeah.
Okie dokie. So, going from
you're third to
bottom up,
last.
England, then Italy, then Turkey, then France, then Russia? You said that Russia was lower than Austria, right? In your eyes?
Yes, and I'm not sure if Russia is lower than Germany in my eyes.
Interesting.
The nature of being a corner power is really good here. I think Germany is virtually a corner power because he's going to be able to stab France effectively. And he's going to have position in the North Sea. But Russia's got, like... I don't know, I feel like Russia's going to have a pretty powerful attack on Germany. Although Austria is going to attack someone. Right? And it seems like Romania is a pretty natural target for him to attack right now. So... yeah, I would put Russia below Germany. But I would put Germany below Austria. I think Austria is number one right now.
Okay. So, gone from nearly being eliminated in 1902 to top of the power rankings in 1906. He's pulling a power.
This is
from,
much closer than previous power rankings have been. Like, I think the strongest anyone's been this game was England when he had the option to continue attacking Germany. I think that was the strongest anyone's been on this board. And then...
But he threw that away.
But he decided to go for a different line.
Yeah, it has been a surprisingly close match, like, throughout, considering how many opportunities people have had to run away with it, myself included.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyways, let's now look at the next moves.
Alright, so let's move on to Spring 1907. Where do you want to look at first?
Well, let's just look at my bay, Austria. So, Austria is trying to take Greece, which he doesn't do. He just doesn't get into Greece at all. Nice. You supported yourself into Bulgaria from Greece, which bounced, but he's going to probably take Greece next turn.
He has positioned around it.
And you just can't really stop it. Your fleet is in the Ionian now, but... I don't know, maybe he doesn't. God, I love this French player. I'm surprised you didn't move Tunis into North Africa, to be honest. Like, it seemed pretty clear that's what he was doing.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake on my part, because, like, there's no reason to support Tyrrhenian Sea to Ionian. There was nothing else that was ever going to go there.
Yep, so that move is a pretty big blunder.
I mean... I don't like the Spain to North Africa convoy. I feel like
it's terrible from France, but like we knew France was going to do it.
Yeah, because that's what France has been doing. You gotta take Tunis.
Yeah, man. If you don't have Tunis, how do you get to 18 centers as France? How? It's physically impossible. you like Warsaw and Moscow don't exist.
Man. But yeah, let's take a quick look in the north, it's...
Sorry, I wanted to look at the rest of Austria's moves. I wanted to just finish up there first. The Budapest tapping Romania is a little weird. I'm not sure what that's about, to be honest. Maybe he wanted Budapest to hold, and he just figured rather than holding, I might as well stop Romania from doing anything like supporting Turkey into my centers. It's just the way he played it.
I mean,
it still doesn't really work.
You would be quite concerned if Turkey took off Ankara, looking at that as Austria, right? Yeah. Because you think they have to have worked out.
You think that there's something going on here. It's just like the problem is if they have a deal, you still get into Bulgaria, right? Which I don't know. It seems, I guess, like the tap is fine, right? It's better than anything else. It's just, I don't know. It feels like if you're distrustful of Russia, you might as well just get into Galicia and just do it. Like, you're probably working with Germany here, and so you probably know that Germany is moving into Silesia, so the Galicia move makes sense. Yeah, that's Austria, and then Italy and you. I don't really want to talk about it. You guys just did standard things. Like we talked about your mistake, but now let's look at the north.
Yep.
Because the north looks like things just got antsy. So Russia and Germany are making moves against each other.
Yep.
And it looks like Germany just got the jump on it. It looks like they agreed to bounce in Prussia, but then Germany also moved into the Baltic.
And into
and
Silesia.
Is positioned on Sweden. And I think he supported France in the North Sea, right?
Yep, he did.
So this means that Sweden is going to be German.
What do you think of the German putting France in the North Sea? Do you think that's a good plan? Or would you have preferred to see
I think
Germany?
He's begging to get stabbed before the end, but this France has played such a good game with no armies ever that it's possible just Germany can't get stabbed.
It is...
The awkward part is Belgium is open for this retreat. And there's actually only 2 units next to Belgium, the North Sea and Holland. So France is not going to be able to cut Norway and support and be involved in the capture of Belgium. That's awkward for Germany.
Yep. I mean...
I think you still take Sweden.
Arguably, Germany didn't have enough units to protect against that, right? You had to, well...
He could have moved Munich into Ruhr.
Yeah. Instead of
Munich
going
to Silesia isn't really doing much this turn. So...
It gets into a position to support Berlin's pressure on the next turn, but...
Yeah. It's would you rather have that or would you rather be taking a dot? Personally, I'd rather be defending the dot, but...
That's fair. So is there much more to talk about? Oh, I did want to ask. Austria's pitch to me at this point for working together, which I don't know whether... Well, he felt that we actually could work together, was you give me Greece and I'll leave you alone for the rest of it.
This was after you popped Ankara?
Yes, this was after I popped Ankara. What are your thoughts?
I don't think you can do it. You can't. Like, Greece is too important. No?
Yeah, that was
right. If you've popped Greece, I totally think you can agree to give it up. Right.
Yep.
You're just saying, yeah, Greece is yours. That's the point. I'm gonna re-get my home, and then let's go smash Russia together.
Yep.
I think you probably could have said yes anyways, actually, because you can just retake Greece pretty quickly no matter what. Right, you're going to have the fleet support around it.
That is actually true.
So maybe you just need to say yes, but like it feels real bad after, because you're going to have to disband that army, and then you're going to be down to 3 fleets in an army.
Yep, it just looks too painful.
Yeah, maybe we needed to do it, though.
But anyway, shall we move on to autumn 1907?
Let's do it, yeah, this turn... So we're going to see France take Edinburgh, probably, and then... What's Austria going to do other than take Greece? Is he just going to take Greece and say +1, call it a year? Seems okay.
Okay, well, I've moved on.
But he didn't put himself in position. Yeah.
I've moved on, so I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Oh my god, you got Russia out of Armenia. What is Russia doing?
That was my thought too, but I was like, well, I'll take it. This was
So he went to you and said, "Hey, you want to convoy me out of Armenia?"
yeah, that was the agreement when I disbanded Ankara. So the bounce lost phase was deliberate and just misleading in Smyrna to indicate that we might be fighting, and then it was all leading up to this.
Cool.
Unfortunately, the rest of it didn't go very well for me because I did lose Tunis, but
Tunis was lost, man. France was going to take Tunis no matter what.
yeah, I could have kept it a year.
I mean, you could have kept it, like, as long as you were bouncing him out of North Africa, you could have stalled for a while,
But I missed that.
Yeah. Like, this turn was really good. Really, 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 really good. Because the Russian army in Armenia was the biggest thorn in your side of this whole position. Now you're back to a juggernaut.
Yep.
Like, 6 years too late. But you can still crush Austria. So it can still work.
Yeah.
And you successfully didn't lose Greece, which is a big part of it.
Aye.
And the Austrian chose to move into Tyrolia.
Yep. Which is a huge blunder on his part. I'm not sure why you even want to be in Tyrolia when France is already support holding you in Venice, but maybe he didn't believe that France was support holding him in Venice.
Whatever, man. That is great news for the Russian.
Yep, absolutely. It's debatable whether it's great news for me or not, right? It gives the Russian much more reason to keep going that direction, but I've kind of already got him where I want him out of my centers, so...
Yeah... I mean, you're going to retake Bulgaria next turn, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, well, actually I can't remember... We'll get to that when we get to it, but I absolutely intend to push further forward. I'm not just going to sit in the corner and let Russia take everything.
Cool. But yeah, so... No, this turn was great for you. This turn from Germany, I don't really understand what's going on over here. Like, they chose to retake Belgium rather than taking Sweden.
Yep.
I guess this gets the English off the board completely, but I am fine with the stupid English fleet in Belgium, so we can hurt the Russian player badly here. And it looks like this is going to be a big deal for them, because Russia is going to be in good position now.
Yeah, Russia is going to be in good position center-wise. He does get a build here, actually. I think. Yeah, he definitely does, because he took Bulgaria.
He didn't lose anything and he's gaining bull.
Yep. And, but they're technically still in position to take Sweden anyway. It's just going to be in the spring of next year.
That is true. But, I don't know. I'd rather take the center from the guy that I'm more worried about than the one I'm not. Right? They're still getting a dot no matter what.
Yeah.
So...
That's reasonable. What do you think of the Frenchmen's refusing to take the English support into Holland?
I think it's fine at this point.
Yeah.
Like, London is going to be yours. You're going to get to stab Germany, in theory, eventually, at some point, soon, TM. And, like, you really can actually have a good excuse to build an army now, and that is your fleets do nothing.
Yep.
So hopefully France can build an army and actually like, get that army somewhere
France
useful.
gets 2 builds here, right? Tunis and Edinburgh.
Eddie and Tunis. Yep. Yeah, look at that.
Pretty solid. Is there much more to talk about here, or is that kind of it?
Yeah, I mean, here we're going to just see that Germany's refusal to stab France ever is gonna be an issue.
Because he's had lots of opportunities at this point.
He's had many opportunities to stab France, but because he's refused all of them, France is going to be able to stab him.
Yeah, to build France here becomes pretty...
It's the nature of being a corner power versus a central power. The central power has to stab the corner power first because they have to. Otherwise, the corner power is going to slowly just get to a point where they're more secure and crush them.
Yep. Well, I mean, unless France builds a Brest Fleet Marseille here...
So... If France does that, I will be so tilted.
Shall we move to the winter?
Yeah, let's see it.
Alright.
Oh, thank God.
There you go, it's 2 armies.
You had me worried there for a second.
Although, Russia does stick to his always army Moscow strat. Which is actually fine here, I think. But,
yeah, here Army Moscow makes a lot of sense. I'd still probably go Army St. Pete, but whatever.
And England's off the board, which means I have to remove him from the power rankings.
The first country elimination, 1907.
That's huge.
Jeez.
It's insane how long that went without a single elimination, considering how many countries were in pretty dire situations earlier. Yep.
Alright, so here, like, you're gonna get Bulgaria. Can you work with Austria now and tell Austria, hey, Austria, Russia's really big, bad, and scary. Let's kill him. And then Austria's gonna look at you with the face, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, and then it's gonna be great. So you can attack Bulgaria from Greece, while... Yeah, so here you convoy Khan into Sev, and then, oh no, then Bulgaria retreats.
Yep. This is the issue, just not enough units at the moment.
Yeah, if only we, like, had more units like we did a couple turns ago. It's a shame. Oh, well, we can still get a build.
Yep.
And then we could move to Adriatic, I guess, to mess with Venice. That feels bad. We have to sit in Ionian. Oh, but Ionian's gonna get broken. Ah, whatever. Your position. You're not winning the game. That's fine. Alright, so here... Whatever. You're not gonna do anything. Let's look at the moves, because you don't exist. Actually, no. I want to see France. Let's see. What's France doing?
Okay, hang on. I'll move back. Yo.
What is France doing? Picardy, Burgundy, English Channel, North Sea. Piedmont to Tyrolia, get Austria to move Tyrolia to Bohemia.
He's got no fleet in the English Channel, right, France?
No, but he has a fleet in North Sea. So North Sea to English.
Oh, right, yeah.
Eddie to North.
Gotcha.
Then...
So you think this is the phase that France stabs?
So this is going to be 1908, right? Spring?
Yes.
So there's 1908, 1909, and then you play through 1910?
Yep.
Gives us 6 moves.
It's all endgame math. It's very difficult. Especially when you have a game this close.
I'd make the move. I think it's time.
Alright, shall we see if you did?
To just... Those German units in the east are not going to affect it enough. Russia is going to lose more to you than he is going to lose to anyone else. And so he's going to probably end this game on 12 to 13. And I don't see Russia getting up to 12. Because Austria is simply too strong. And you are there to mess with it. So unless later on you decide to throw to Russia. But I think going for it right here is the best as France.
Alright, shall we see whether he did?
Let's do it.
Alright, spring 1908.
I mean, he did. I just feel like he's going about it the wrong way.
Yep, I would agree. To the extent that the general opinion on the board was that this was a fake stab. I can confirm that it wasn't, but everyone thought it was because of how terrible the moves were.
Ineffectual this was.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, he does get Belgium still. That's pretty cool.
He does, yes. Yeah.
Because there's nothing next to Holland. That's hilarious. But, like, why are you in the Norwegian Sea?
That was the big confusing move there. Like, why would you not move to North Sea? It makes no sense.
And then why isn't Gulf of Leon moving anywhere except into the Tyrrhenian Sea? Gulf of Leon to Western Med, Gulf of Leon to Spain south coast? Like, why? Why is Piedmont moving into Tuscany instead of trying to get into Tyrolia? Like, we should be trying to flank Germany here. Why isn't it moving back to Marseille to backfill so we can, like, get into Picardy and then Burgundy? What is going on, friends? Or better yet, Ruhr. right? If Marseille, if Piedmont's in Marseille next turn, we have this punishing guess of Burgundy straight to Ruhr, and then suddenly Germany's position is really difficult to hold. Also, Edinburgh, it kind of needs to be in the North Sea to make this work, because then we could have actually taken Belgium still. But
Yep.
instead, we have the stupid German army in Yorkshire that's going to take another center off of us, so this is just going to be a stupid, useless war. Alright, I take it back. Russia's going to win the game. Easy. Cool.
Right. No chance for Germany in your eyes? Just because he's being stabbed here? Or?
No way. He's pressured from both sides.
Yep.
He's a central power, and he just doesn't have enough units to hold.
Yeah. I would agree on that.
Maybe... Is there a chance where you pull this out? There's a universe where you pull this out.
Shall we see what happened on the...
That convoy into Romania is sweet. If you could take Bulgaria and then fill into Khan, so they can't actually retreat into Khan. That's clean. All right, I think you're back in business.
Potentially. The problem, obviously, with attacking Bulgaria here is the potential for its retreat into Constantinople.
Yeah, that was why my description was Romania supports Greece into Khan, Ionia into Greece, and then Black to Khan.
Yeah, but then you lose all the leverage over Sevastopol, right? But then I suppose you're probably not getting Sevastopol anyway.
I mean, you took Sevastopol, but you're not holding... Was this a deal, an arranged thing, where you said, just give me Sev?
No, I did not want Sev. I did not ask for Sev. This was a thing where he wanted to take Serbia from Romania and put me in Romania. I was like, I'm fine with that. So, as far as I recall, this wasn't my idea. I was like, I'll just go into Bulgaria and that'll be good. But no, he wanted me to be in Romania instead. I'm like, sure.
Okay,
sure.
Cool. Yeah, and then let's look at the French-German War.
Yep. So, one interesting thing here, the Russian not support holding Sweden. I never found out why he didn't support hold Sweden here. Seems...
Oh, Sweden supporting Norway, but Norway's not supporting Sweden?
No, are you still in Spring 08 or?
Sorry, no, I'm not.
Oh, did you move forward?
Yeah, I moved forward.
Oh, okay. Well, Spring 08,
Oh, sorry. Sorry, that's why it was so weird.
Oh.
I see. Sorry, yeah, I was on the next turns of moves and I was talking about the thing. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
convoy into Romania absolutely makes sense.
Yes.
The Russians just like, sure, be in Romania. And I'm
right.
like,
We'll very quickly look at the move I just pointed out. Then Norway hold instead of support hold Sweden, and Sweden to Baltic.
yeah, that just seems terrifying.
It's yeah. I don't get it. I guess he and German had something worked out because Germany didn't attack Sweden.
No. This is just people making a mistake. It's
I mean,
not
why
a
did
problem.
Germany not support himself into Sweden if he was doing this?
What did Baltic do?
Baltic just went to Sweden as well. It was a self-bounce.
What?
But I never found out why that was the case, so I guess that's...
So they're just like trying to look at war, but they're also simultaneously putting all of their units on the border.
Yeah,
I
it's very strange indeed.
What's more likely? These people came up with a reason to make this be the thing, or two people simultaneously made mistakes?
I feel like it has to be two people not agreeing even on something to do. I guess maybe they were trying to build some trust.
Maybe they're trolling the commentators. I could totally see them talking to each other and being like, look, I can support hold Sweden and you can attack Sweden with strength too, but to have fun messing with the commentators, let's just not. And if either one of us breaks the deal, then I'll be really pissed at you and I'm going to throw against you.
Yep.
So like, let's just do this for jokes.
That's possible. And then we'd be the ones getting trolled.
Yeah, that has to be it.
Uh,
But if we could successfully call out the troll, then that means we just nailed it, right?
Well, you did. I did not, even though I was playing, so... but yeah, sorry, let's move on to the four moves where you were before. Here. Yes, so... the story of this move, from my perspective, was... Russia basically said, we're good to continue working together as long as you do the agreed moves, even if you, as long as you do the agreed moves against Austria, even if you stab me anywhere else. And so I'm like, okay,
Cool.
sure, I'll walk into Sevastopol.
Great, I'll stab you everywhere else.
He was still not very happy that I stabbed him in Sevastopol, but I did help him.
But you need your builds, man. Yeah, into Budapest and something else, right?
Yeah, and Serbia.
You attacked Serbia, right?
No, that was that's the moveset here to defend against anything. You push Galicia into Budapest.
Oh, of course.
Support. That's,
yeah. And then Bulgaria supports.
Yeah, Bulgaria supports
clean.
Greece up to prevent any attack on Serbia, except.
Which looked important here.
There was one potential attack that could have worked, which was Budapest.
Yeah, Budapest
down.
into Serbia with double support.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to do that. We were fairly sure. So.
I mean, you nailed it.
Yep.
And you're +2. And Russia gained Budapest and Serbia, but lost Armenia and Sev, so Russia's even.
Yep.
Germany's pulling back to the west to defend against the French, who's got this useless fleet in the Norwegian Sea, bouncing in the North Sea.
Okay, something very important to consider here. France entered Holland to Burgundy instead of Holland support Burgundy to Belgium, and as a result, he gets knocked out of Burgundy by the German army. That is a huge misorder.
Yep.
Because otherwise, all the units would have held position, and France would have had a totally solid line on that front.
Yeah, because then, except Paris to Picardy, of course. Because Paris to Picardy is a big deal there.
Yep.
But yeah, then France never gets broken, so...
Yeah. So
it looks like France's position was fine, and then France misordered a couple times and executed a really bad stab, and that's gonna be a problem for France.
Very likely. The interesting thing down south, Austria's support holding Italy, while Italy tries to support France into Austrian centers.
Yeah, I mean, Italy's wanted Austria dead the entire game. And Austria at this point is saying, well, I'd rather the French not have your centers right now, so...
Yep.
Okay.
So I did a huge blunder on the diplomatic front in this phase, which was entertaining ideas by the Austrian of moving against Russia. Which
in what way?
I was never going to accept, and I think it became clear to him that I was never going to accept it partway through the phase, and he started getting pretty angry about that. But it's not to the point where he's so angry he'd throw yet.
Oh dear. I have a bad feeling that yet is a
It may be.
There's a phrase in cinematography where, like, it's the predictive phrase, like the important key foreshadowing thing.
Yeah, I don't know what the phrase is called. It's it's not Chekhov's gun, is it? That's something different. I don't remember. But yes, I know what you're talking about. I'm sure commenters, the YouTube comments can correct us. But yes, you are correct in reading that may have an impact in the future. Is there anything else in particular you want to look at this phase?
I don't know, man. The French players made me sad.
Yep, just the move not going into North was such a huge, a devastating mistake. That this stab has given them nothing. They've gotten no centers from it. Because they went plus Holland.
Yeah, they're trading Holland for Liverpool.
Yeah. Which...
Yeah.
It's exactly why we all thought this was an arranged... oh, hey, we're stabbing each other thing, when it actually wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go on to some next moves. I want to see you get out of this with the win, me. Please.
Alright, so winter 1908, I build Army Constantinople, Fleet Ankara. Those are the only builds on the board, and then Austria removes the units that aren't in his centers.
And you don't want to build another army.
It's an... Wait, are you saying I shouldn't build another army? Or
I was thinking 2 armies might have been correct here.
It's possible. It depends where you're pushing for the win, right?
I think the simplest way is just maximize our center count here. And I think all those centers are going to come from Russia.
That seems pretty reasonable. I think...
Right, I think we're going to take, like, Bulgaria, Serbia...
I think Fleet Black is kind of important.
Yeah, but Sev's getting there, right? Sev's our Fleet Black.
Yeah.
And then we have an army in Sev that can actually help with Moscow and Ukraine.
I mean, you're never going to get Moscow, right? So...
You're probably not going to get Moscow.
From my point of view, I don't think Moscow is a target worth going for. I think if I am going to win,
the Ukraine's worth going for.
Ukraine... I've got 2 years left. So...
Yeah.
The centers that look most appetizing are the Balkan ones. And...
Yeah, I mean, Bulgaria, Serbia, Budapest are the natural ones to get.
Yep. And then...
It's a shame that the Austrian doesn't want you to attack Russia.
No, he does.
Yeah, but you pissed him off last turn.
I did annoy him last turn, but he at this point he's still trying to make deals.
Cool, and you're going to attack Russia now, right?
Foreshadowing time, shall we just move to the next phase?
Sure.
Okay, spring 1908.
Cool, you attack Russia.
Not really. This was...
What? You're in Bulgaria and Serbia.
Yes, but this was all arranged.
Russia moving back into Ukraine and Moscow was arranged?
That wasn't all arranged. I think you agreed to move into one of the two. But he did not agree to pull everything back on that front. But in the Balkan sphere, all of that was done to try and untangle units. Which... I mean, arguably, it's still pretty great for me because I've got Bulgaria.
Why not just accept? Why not just accept the Austria? Like, say, hey, Austria, you want to support me into Budapest?
No, yeah, Austria was never going to support me into Budapest. He wanted his centre back.
Cool.
That was.
So he didn't just say yes.
So I could have put him back into Budapest. I didn't.
Just say I'm going to cut Serbia. You can take it yourself.
Well, I mean, if he had tried to take it himself, he either wouldn't have gotten in or he would have lost Trieste, right?
The way that, he could have attacked from... Oh, no, he could not have. This. Unless he moved Venice into Trieste.
That is a very good point. And I wish I'd have thought of that.
Yeah, and then Budapest goes off the board. Because you knew the Russian orders, right?
Yes.
So in that case, yeah, you needed to get Budapest off the board.
And this was what I was referring to when I was saying the Austrian was annoyed at me and was leading into the throw. Clearly it did happen right now. He supports the French unit into Rome from Tuscany. Which...
And throwing to France? Can you actually throw to France this game? I would assume Germany's just going to win this.
Potentially.
I guess the war is not that bad for him, is it?
I mean, the north is chaotic as hell, really. You can see that Germany's getting Edinburgh here, which is it's kind of insane that he's managed to pick up all 3 English centres with one army
with
there.
One dot. Yep.
But France also sneaks into Belgium, but Germany's still got the
Germany
unit in Burgundy.
Compensates into the Ruhr.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Russia's backed off on the other front. So.
Yep. Like, I don't know. I feel like this should be a war that's really, really good for Germany. Because, like, he can retake Holland, and he's taking Edinburgh. Like, if France isn't getting Rome, France doesn't have a chance. If I'm Austria here, I'm trying to throw to Germany, not France.
I mean, can Austria throw to Germany?
Yeah, like, supporting Silesia into Galicia, and then Silesia into Budapest, and then... With the build, he can give him Vienna and or Trieste.
That makes sense. Well, yeah. So,
but and of course you don't help France into Rome, and like if you don't help France into Rome, I think Germany's gonna be doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, France getting Rome means that Germany has French builds to worry about. So that does make it a lot more problematic.
It should be even, right?
Well, they go plus Belgium, minus Edinburgh, plus Rome. Oh yeah, and then they get a...
Minus Holland.
Yeah, they do go minus Holland, because they've got the... Yeah, so it's... but if Holland gets taken off, it can be blown up and put back. I suppose that doesn't make a huge difference.
Yeah, it just goes into the English Channel, or Brest into the English Channel,
Yep.
which matters, but I don't know, I'd rather defeat in Holland than Brest right now.
Alright, should we move into the fall?
If France wins, I'm going to be really frustrated.
I realised we didn't update the power rankings at the end of last year, but we can do it at the end of this year instead.
Give us 2 years to go. No, just 1910. Whatever.
Yeah, this is... So let's move into the fall of 1909.
Sure.
Here we are.
Interesting. Russia attacked Holland from rear. He went for the guaranteed capture of Holland
Germany
and forced the disband. Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah, and got position on the North Sea, which is kind of important here, especially if he's going to continue working with
With
Russia.
only one turn left, it's less important.
I mean...
It matters, but it really matters much more for, like, 2-year type moves. For just these single tactical shots, I don't think it's going to affect much.
It's only really going to be helpful against Belgium, isn't it?
Yeah. And it might help with, like, London if he takes the North Sea and moves Eddie to York. Then the North Sea will then recapture London if North Sea tries to move there. But then there's going to be the Fleet Brest going into English Channel, so maybe not. Like it might help with the center. It's just not that big of a deal. And yeah, this seems, I don't know. Like, if Austria is specifically throwing to France, then yeah, this game is going to be a French win. Unless you counter throw to Russia instead.
It's, we'll get to that.
So, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the power rankings, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about where we're at.
Right.
Because
are you...
this is just complete chaos.
We should look at the moves in the east, right?
Okay, sure. It's like you lose Sev, but you retake Rum, you keep Sur and Bull, and then you help Russia into Trieste, and then Russia gets Vienna and doesn't lose Budapest. So Austria is down to one center.
Yes.
But
this was
it's Venice.
arguably a pretty huge mistake on my part. Because this was like my last chance of redemption with Austria and working with him. And if I had, even though he was insistent on Budapest, there was always the possibility that he would support me in there. The main thing was it would have left Russia sandwiched between me and Austria, right? Whereas now Russia's got the whole of Austria, and there's no way I'm pushing into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the out to get a couple centers. And then, of course, there's like some fancy schmancy guessing you could have done, right? If you knew Russia's orders.
Yes, I did know all of Russia's orders. There was always the potential of just knocking him out of Romania and letting... because this wasn't something I even noticed until one of the other commentators from Edwin Sullivan's channel pointed it out to me after the game. But with the Russian going into Vienna here, I could have just not told the Austrian anything and let him do these moves, and it would have bounced Russia out of Budapest. I can take Romania from Bulgaria or something similar. And suddenly the Austrian is down to 2 centers, and there's an empty Russian dot there next to it.
Yeah, in Budapest.
Yeah. So that was...
And then you have your army in Romania instead of
Yep. Instead of the
this fleet.
So not spotting that was something I was just kicking myself over.
Yeah, that's an important tactical out. Yeah, like when your ally is telling you all their orders, you gotta...
Yeah.
And you're trying to look to stab to get the win in these dot situations. Ultimately, it might not even matter. But maybe the Austria doesn't throw then, because it looks like you're actually giving yourself a better shot.
Yeah, it's possible.
And you're stabbing the Russian, right? Like, that's the whole point is...
Yep.
Yeah, just like Serbia supports Bulgaria into Romania.
I think right now the focus is on who's going to throw to who, right? And no one of the four leaders, the Russia, Turkey, Germany, France, should really want to throw because they all have some degree of a shot. But I was very worried that if Russia was taken off the board, off the out of wing contention completely, he just gives his northern centres to Germany. Because I saw that as a very real possibility. It's, like, why wouldn't he?
I mean, the answer is because he has respect for the people who played to win rather than the people who played to get thrown to. So, I could see him saying, you know what, you outplayed me there in the end, and sure, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Which is not an attitude I would expect. But I think this is... I don't see how you get more centers than anyone else at this point.
Right. So in terms of power rankings, definitely Italy and Austria are both out of it here.
They cannot win.
Yep.
You are not going to win.
So
and it makes me sad, but you're not going to win.
So out of the other three, who would you put first, second, third?
If I don't know the feelings of Austria right now, and I don't really... So Russia is definitely after you.
As in...
And then between... He's next last.
Okay.
So it's Austria, Italy, then you, then Russia. And then Germany and France... I don't know. I'm going to give the edge to Germany just because I think his units are more consolidated and looking better.
Okay.
I think his units are prettier than the French, but... The problem is, I think they're even on centers right now, and I think France has easier access to more centers. Like, London, of course, is going to be French, and it's not... And if France commits to it, nothing can stop him from having London at the end of this turn.
That is true.
And...
France also has 2 builds, right? If we...
Yeah, I'm assuming they kept their builds in.
Yeah.
Germany only has 1 build, I believe.
Okay, so I'm just going to move ahead to the winter of 1909 so we can see the builds here.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
Army Smyrna, Army Warsaw, Army Munich, Army Marseille, Fleet Brest, which is like the most reasonable choice.
Yeah, perfect.
And then taking off Fleet Naples, Army Tyrolia,
Whatever.
and Army Bohemia.
Do your thing. Yeah, so here... If you keep the French out of Naples, which you can just do, you just... Oh, mate, no, not quite. Oh, he convoys himself into Apulia, so you have to cut Rome this turn. And he can even... And Austria can even support that directly. Yikes. Venice, that's terrifying. So Naples is actually lost.
Potentially.
If you support him into Rome, though... He's going to be support holding Rome. He's not going to be supporting the convoy into Apulia. So yeah, here you can... Tyrrhenian Sea needs to cut Rome to stop the convoy into Apulia.
Yep.
That needs to happen. So France doesn't get Naples this turn, very probably. So in the north, France is plus London. France is down Belgium. Because he's not able to hold Belgium, I would assume. Let me just see if I can prove that. For France to hold Belgium, he would probably have to give up London. I don't think he can do that. Yeah, France can't. If he wants to recapture Belgium or hold on to Belgium, he's going to have to retake Burgundy, but then Burgundy retreats to Gascony and takes Spain.
So he loses Belgium. So he's like swapping Belgium for London.
Basically, and then he's not getting Naples. So France and Germany, on the French front, are both staying at 8. Russia is currently at 9.
Yep.
And has potential to scoop up Denmark, not really. Has potential to scoop up Berlin, but not really. Can't get nope. Romania. No. No one's gonna get anything, right? Nothing's gonna change this turn.
Seems pretty set.
Like, Baltic supports... Yeah, there's just...
Still, this is incredibly close. You got Russia on 9, Germany on 8, France on 8, Turkey on 7. If no one changes, then Russia wins. But remember that both France and Germany have the tiebreaker over Russia.
So either one of them just need to get a single center.
It's the closest run thing you ever did see. Do you want to have a look at the moves?
The problem is... No, I'm still trying to look at the tactics in Russia, because you might be able to get something from Russia if you make a mistake. Like, Trieste or Budapest might be at risk. Army Smyrna here is... I guess it's needed to bounce Armenia.
We'll take Armenia.
Whatever. That doesn't matter.
You're very down.
You need to get the army Bulgaria into Romania. Sorry?
You're very down on my chances here.
Oh, are you going to take Sevastopol?
Well, we'll see. I definitely will still go for the win. I'm not someone who throws, like, ever. So...
Yeah, no. Throwing here is unreasonable, because there are universes, right?
Yep.
So... I think your best bet is something like Serbia supports Trieste to Budapest, Greece to Albania, Black Sea convoy swaps Bulgaria and Romania. If you're trying to win, I think you got to do that.
I did not...
Oh, Tyrrhenian Sea! Excuse me. Tyrrhenian Sea goes to Western Med, of course. Of course. Because there's a universe where, like, France supports Marseille and Burgundy, and then you can go after Spain. Cool. So Tyrrhenian Sea to Western Med, of course. Can't believe I missed that. But then... Oh, can you get the French to move Ionian into Adriatic? And then get him to support you into Trieste? That's a line.
I mean, why would the French support me into Trieste? I suppose to take Russia down the center, right? The real problem was, with France, he was never talking to me. Still, even like through the mid-game and up to this point, I think we'd sent maybe a total of 30 messages to each other, and 20 of those was me saying, please respond.
Yikes. But yeah, the French, if the French is in Adriatic and they help you take Russia down to center, that's a thing, right? Because now you're on 8. And we just have to, like, squeeze the last one from Balki's corpse, have Balki support you into Naples, and then support hold you in Naples, but that needs to happen next turn. That's the key. So keep Balki in Apulia, like bounce with Balki out of Naples this turn so nobody can do it, and then Balki supports you into Naples the following turn. While France supports you into Trieste. And then boom, you get 9 and everyone else is at 8. Alright, we found your line. That's how you can win the game.
Interesting idea. I mean, I definitely need to get at least one higher in order to have a chance, because I was last on the tiebreak. So, we'll see how that works out. Shall we move on to Spring 1910?
Let's do it.
Alright.
Germany doesn't retake the North Sea. Ooh, that's a good move from France there. Bouncing in Yorkshire. Yep. That's clean. Because then even if he gets kicked out of North Sea, he just retreats into London. Good. Clean. I didn't realize that. And then even if he doesn't move into Yorkshire, he still got 2 in London. That's a really good move from France.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I missed that tactic.
This phase, honestly, all round was fantastic by France, especially on the negotiation front. I don't know exactly what deal he made with Germany here, but he made a deal with Germany, and if you look at the positions here, he has London guaranteed, and he... Yeah,
and he supports whole Belgium now.
He can make sure that Germany can't take Belgium.
Yeah, because Germany just, like, didn't move Munich into the Ruhr. Or Kiel into the Ruhr.
Yep.
Germany! No! Alright, well, Germany just tossed it. And that's it. Right? That's all she wrote.
Well, that puts France on 9, right?
And where's Russia's last talk going to come
So
from?
here's the
Denmark?
interesting thing. Germany was burnt by this French move. I don't know exactly what the French agreed to do. As I said, I think it must have been something to do with letting Germany into Sweden, or I don't know, putting their units somewhere.
Whatever.
But in any case, the Germans' objective after the results of this phase was for anyone except France to win.
Okay, so then he gives Russia Denmark.
So obviously, yes, the very first thing he does is
Yeah.
offer Russia Denmark, but then he comes to me and he says, hey, you know, if Russia is going to Denmark, then I can take Sweden and I can take Trieste, and then and I can take Trieste with your help, and then I can win the game because I have the tiebreak over France. He told me this.
Okay, cool.
What incentive is there for me to agree to that?
To help Germany over him.
Yeah, so
And then let's just make sure that you can't do anything else, right? You can, but you have the lowest tiebreaker. So because France is at 9, you now need to get to 10.
Yep.
So even Trieste and Naples doesn't get you there. Oof.
Yeah. It's important to note the reason France is definitely at 9 is that he can enter Ionian, support Rome to Naples, right? And that guarantees that he has either one of Rome or Naples at the end of the phase. So, yeah, at this point is a lot of talk about throwing. Russia thinks he's getting Denmark off of Germany. Germany wants to use that to get me to give him Trieste so that he wins the game. But he also wants me to be honest with him, because if I'm not going to do that, he wants to actually give Russia Denmark.
Yeah, I mean, if I was you, I would personally give the win to Germany over France, because I think France has played a pathetic game and doesn't deserve anything.
Now, see,
and I think Germany's played a good game.
I think the reason that Germany was so out of the gate with this Trieste suggestion was that I'd made my feelings about France's play pretty clear up to this point, and I didn't like it. So both he and Russia took that as a sign that I would be willing to
throw against France.
Yes.
So, is there a way that we can leverage this? So, okay, let's say you know that Germany's attacking Trieste, which is not the most useful move. We don't have an army in Romania, do we?
No.
That's still a stupid, useless fleet.
Unfortunately not.
And the Austria is not happy with us, yeah?
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? I thought the Austrian was really, really unhappy with me until the start of... no, the very end of the phase before this one, where I finally got talking to him again, and he just outright tells me that he dislikes Russia a lot more than he dislikes me.
Cool.
So that's something I can leverage as well.
It just doesn't matter. Nothing matters here. It's all over. It's all she wrote, right? You can't win. You need Russia to give you centers. Like, how is Russia going to give you centers?
I mean, Russia was never going to give me any centers as in throwing, because Russia was pretty convinced they had the win.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Austria can support you into Rome still.
Austria can. Italy could support me into Rome. So.
Yeah, but, like, Italy's going to get cut, right? If for whatever reason, that Italian support's not going to work, I believe. That's not going to happen.
Shall I go through what happened?
No.
No, sorry, not in terms of moves, in terms of what I was doing negotiation-wise.
What sales pitches are you giving to these people, man?
Okay, so first thing to consider, Italy wants me to win, right?
Okay, yeah.
Italy actually pitches this. I didn't have this thought, and this was what set the whole thing into motion.
Cool.
Italy says, if Russia thinks he needs more, you have more of a shot. Right?
Yeah.
So Italy
definitely true.
Blows up at Russia, says, I hate you, you ruined the game for me, blah 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 blah.
I'm giving
it to France. I'm supporting Ionian into Naples. Which makes Russia think that France is going to end on 10.
Yeah, and Russia's losing the tiebreaker, so Russia needs 11.
Yep.
So Russia needs 2, not just Denmark from Germany.
Where's Russia?
Where's she get the next
Where's
one?
Russia's other dot going to come from?
Romania, right?
Yep. I mean, the other option is Venice, which was a pretty good option, but due to negotiations between me and Germany regarding Trieste, Germany never was willing to offer Russia that support. So Romania looked like the only place that Russia could go.
So you get him to attack, you support, and you retake Sev or some nonsense?
Your microphone is a little bit...
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Is it clearer now?
Yeah, it's a lot clearer now.
Yeah, sorry, I had my hands over my mouth as I'm like doing the whole thinking thing.
Yep.
And it happened to get next to the microphone. That's slick.
But yeah, so the few things I noticed here, it's kind of hard to see because obviously you can't see where the units are positioned on the board, you can only see where they went, because we've still got the last orders up. But my thinking is, in order to win, I need 10 sensors. Because France is definitely going to be at 9, right? That means I have to go +3. My only... well, one of my +3 is going to be Rome, because Italy was supporting me there.
Yeah. One of them's got to be Trieste.
One of them's got to be Trieste. Austria was willing to support me to Trieste, just to screw with the Russian.
And so now you've got Sev or Budapest as the other options?
Sev or Budapest is the only other option. So I've got 3 units.
And Budapest has nothing in Budapest. There's nothing in Budapest right now, yeah?
No.
And you've only got Serbia bordering it.
Yep.
So Budapest is probably not a realistic option.
Probably not.
Meaning it's got to be Sev.
He's got 3 units on Sevastopol as well.
But if you can make him attack Romania by tricking him into thinking that he needs to take Romania and you're willing to give it to him for whatever reason, but you'll support it so he needs to attack with all of his units, you then support Romania and take Sev.
That's fairly close to what pitch I went for, yes. So throughout the rest of the game, Russia had attempted to threaten me with throwing the game once before, and I had gone off at him about how I didn't respect people who threw the game and how I basically hated everything about that. So when it came down to it at the very end, when he asked me to throw him the game again, I said, okay, but it has to look like I didn't throw. Because I don't want this on my reputation.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, nice. Nice. And so I'm just supporting Romania. You can attack it with 3 and you're going to defend it with only like 1 or whatever.
So I didn't even make the pitch on how to do it because I knew he would, like, whichever way he would try and take Romania, as long as I made it clear I had to look like I was defending or attacking Sevastopol, there would be an opening for me somewhere, right?
Yep.
So
you can get it. Absolutely.
His pitch to me was move Romania to Sevastopol with 2 supports, and I'll counter it. Which means he has to be double supporting Sevastopol and supporting Galicia down to Romania, right?
Yeah.
Which leaves Budapest open.
Because Vienna is supporting Trieste?
Yes. The only problem with that is Vienna supporting Trieste, so no dice, right? Which meant Germany had to be on board to cut Vienna.
But Germany is willing to let anyone else win as long as it's not France.
Precisely. So I had to try and make the pitch to Germany. I basically got all of this set up. I also tipped off Russia that Austria had offered to support me to Trieste, so that Russia wouldn't randomly...
He was going to be supporting Trieste.
So that he wouldn't randomly enter Vienna to Budapest or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I just had to try and make the pitch to Germany that, okay...
That you're going to win the game if he cuts Vienna.
Yeah. And let's move ahead to fall 1910 and see whether I managed to do that.
All right. No.
Fell at the final hurdle.
No.
It was so goddamn close, though.
Did Germany just not think you were going to get there?
Yeah, Germany and I, the way I tried to do it was I made a deal with him where I would support him to Trieste if Russia was doing a certain thing, and he would cut Vienna if Russia was doing the opposite. And then I made sure that Russia was doing the thing that I wanted him to do. And Germany backed out of the deal. So he said that there was no way that Russia was leaving Budapest open, so my chances to get it was 0 to get the win.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is what happened, as you can see.
So at the end of the day, Russia pulls it out.
No, they don't.
I thought isn't he at 9?
Well, if you move on to winter 1910 here, right, it will show you the scores at the bottom. France got to 9.
Oh, cool.
Russia loses Budapest because of my gambits.
Because you stat Budapest still, so France still gets the win because Germany's a little...
Germany refusing to tap Vienna meant that France took the win.
That he got the thing he wanted to the whole time. Oh, man, Germany. Alright, jeez. What a game.
Beautiful ending to the game, honestly. And it felt like the best thing I'd done all game, but it was just short because of all the mistakes I'd made before that.
Yeah, man. Jeez.
Still, it was intense.
Yeah, that's terrifying, dude. Well, it's a shame.
But yeah, congrats to Pez de Mer, who was France in this game. Played a really solid alliance game, honestly. It felt like a weak game, but that was because we were constantly aware that Germany would stab France, and he never did, which is a profit to French diplomacy, right? Would you agree with that?
I mean, look, I'm gonna just go back real quick to I believe it was 1902.
Okay.
All right. Let's just have a look at that board for just a second.
Which one? Spring, fall, or winter?
Just right after the spring, right? Right after the 1901 double fleet build.
Oh, yep. Hang on.
And yeah, right after builds. And right now, right in the spring, as Germany, you've got to be able to find that stab onto France. You've got to be able to make peace with England and just figure it out. Because that's crazy. And it's like the pitch should be relatively simple. It's, look, France just built 2 fleets. He might be on your side right now, but he's going to take Tunis and then he's going to come for you, and that's, right, we can kill him right now. You tried to attack me, but you didn't succeed. No harm, no foul, let's go. Like, that's gotta happen. You've gotta kill France here.
When we were discussing this, didn't you say the Paris attack would be a pretty weak one-center stab? Because at this point, Germany did have England and Russia against him, so...
I said that in, as soon as you saw the builds from France, you need to get England on side.
Oh yeah, you were saying that
you need to convince
you
England.
moved Belgium and Munich in. Yeah, okay, I remember now.
Yeah. And then you just say, look, England, we're just going to kill him. Like, you get Brest, I get Paris. We'll figure out Marseille, Spain, and Portugal. Like, but we should just kill France. We can work together. We'll get you into Sweden or St. Petersburg, and I'll get the other one. And then, like, we're just going to EG this up and just kill everyone. And from right now, it's just that seems ridiculously potent. But instead that didn't happen, and Germany just kept going to war with people.
I think the main problem with Germany was just never making any progress. He went to war with people, but he never took anything. The only centers he took past 1901, I believe, were taking Belgium back, and then the English centers. Which just wasn't enough. There was no support anywhere for his moves.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a Russian fleet in the Baltic Sea the entire game, right?
Yes.
Like, just that's a problem for Germany.
It moved to Sweden at one point, but that's not a plus. That it just held Sweden for the rest of the game then. So.
Yeah, it's like it was in the Baltic Sea until 1905. and then it was, and by the time it was then, there was a British fleet in the Gulf of Bothnia, which is better, but like not great.
Yep.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like you gotta, when there's those stabs in the early game when people have gotten too lopsided builds, those are when the stabs are most potent, I found. Similarly, like a Russia that builds two fleets frequently gets stabbed by Austria and or Germany. Usually they coordinate and they say, yeah, they are left themselves too exposed, let's just capitalize. They just strategically, they don't have the units to hold because of their builds. And that's got to be the case here.
Yeah. I mean, especially with Spain going off to North Africa, it's kind of a... it's kind of a... That, I mean, France would just be decimated if Germany and England had teamed up here. But the fact that they didn't was definitely a testament to the French diplomacy in some respect.
It's gotta be.
France seemed like the weakest player on the board diplomatically to me, but I think that was probably because he was focusing his efforts on his neighbours, and that turned out to be where the efforts needed to be, so I can't really fault him for that. Although Russia played a damn good game too, and would have won if he hadn't bought my gambit at the last moment. So...
I just wanted to see Germany tap Vienna.
It would have been so good. I wanted to see it too. The big problem with Backstabber I've found is that there's like a period of somewhere between 7 and 15 minutes added onto the end of every phase where most of the negotiation happens. Where it says game is adjudicating, but you can still change your orders and you can still message people.
Oh my god.
So I didn't know how long I had to convince Germany. So we were still talking when the moves went through, because it was an early-ish one. It was about 8 minutes in, I think, to the adjudication time.
So if you had 5 more minutes, you think you could have gotten the German? Dang.
Maybe. I think more likely he would have tipped Russia off that I was going to Budapest, and then Russia would have won the game. But there was always the possibility he might have tapped Vienna. I was really sad to see him back out of the deal because he'd been such a loyal ally to France all game. I figured he's got to stick with the deal he makes here, right? But no. He wanted France to lose so badly that he made France win. Still, it was a damn good game and a damn close one too. And I realise
that was a very close end game.
Really, really close. I think it's closer than any of the other games we've commentated so far.
Definitely. There were 4 countries with good winning chances going into the end, which is surprising. And I mean the literal last turn of the game.
Yep.
So that's
I mean, Germany had a good winning chance if I'd have thrown to him, but I was never going to do that. So.
Yep, but
it was still there. Man. But yeah, so that's where we'll finish up. I hope you've enjoyed.
Thanks for listening for the last 4 hours.
No, right? I think this was longer than 4 hours. Didn't we start at like 11? Well, my time.
My recording studio has us at 3 hours and 53 minutes.
Okay.
With some downtime, so.
Longest one so far.